fully operational here. How you doing? It is a Sunday afternoon. I didn't think I'd be streaming this early, especially seeing as it's 6 o'clock. I was going to be streaming again, but I wanted to do a quick reaction because people are definitely going to react, and this is going to be a very polarizing thing. But I believe in primary and secondary causation. What primary and secondary causation are this? And you can read Charles Spurgeon's Jacob and Esau sermon if you want a bit of a background on this. But primary causation is what God has decreed. And what God has decreed is exactly how history is going to unfold from the beginning to the end. And that includes all the bad stuff that has ever happened to you, to me, to Christ, to everybody, men, women, children, all the deaths, all the grapes, all of the crimes. That has to do in a primary causation of what God has occur. Hey, on day 3, this is going to be one of the most uncomfortable episodes this channel is ever going to have. So I went on a show called The Line, which has Matt Dillahunty and Seth Andrews. Both Dillahunty and Seth Andrews were actively involved in the church as professing believers, and they left to become atheists. And I called into the show because I want to further and further test my argument. I don't think I got a really good test of my argument because the mute button, I think, has the most prominent place in the show. They need to just call it the mute button show because I think even though Seth Andrews and Matt Dillahunty are ostensibly the hosts, the mute button makes the most appearances per show. It's almost like they're the guests of the show and the mute button is the host. But we're going to get into it. He asked me about the punishment given to David, where David's wives were graped, as they say on YouTube and other social media. And yeah, God can deal whatever punishment he wants to on people. So when Matt Dillahunty says, is it okay to use that as a punishment? There's a conflation. The necessary conflation here is whether or not it's okay for human beings to do that. And the answer for that is absolutely no. On day 3, unbelievable. Please go check out this man. He is a absolute, what do you call it? Virtuoso with the Muslim debate here. Prophet mute is pretty powerful. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All hail prophet mute button. All right. So yeah, this was kind of impromptu. So I'm going to throw this together. I'm probably going to be pretty uncomfortable listening to it myself because it is an uncomfortable topic to bring up. And Christians shouldn't pretend like it's not, because some of the judgments of God are horrific. I mean, some of the judgments against Israel about I don't know if it was, I'm thinking it was Israel, where there were pregnant women who were cut open, and and there were people, Lamentations, I think, who were boiling and eating their babies for food. I mean, it was awful stuff, right? And then I'm a compatibilist, so I believe in both free will and predestination, but the predestination characterizes what kind of free will we have. The predestination in that case would characterize what happens, but the free will would be, of course, contingent upon our nature, whether the person is the elect or not, whether they're saved or not. So I'm going to throw up the video real quick here. They are still live. So if it's a little glitchy, you'll know why. So here we go.
Because me deserves to die. I need to be wiped out. My identity has to be in many ways replaced with the identity of Jesus.
He's talking about baptism.
And that's an attack on the self. I think it's really offensive to frame it in that way. And the idea to many of these people that to say we have value on our own and that our lives have value and all that is selfish and egotistical.
Where are these value claims coming from? Who told you you had value? Did you use your own reason to come to the conclusion you have value? Is it a circular, self-imposed thing? So if you come to the conclusion you don't have any value, was that just as true when it's the time that you did say you had value?
And we just want to be God? I find insulting. So anyway, you triggered that little memory in my mind from last weekend. Not that the guy is still under.
I will say Seth Andrews does have a great radio voice.
My skin, but it just so presumptuous, it irritated me. So
it's one of the things. So first of all, there's the whole, like I grew up in back before Bill Cosby was a known rapist, with him doing that comedy.
He forgot to say grapist.
Bit of, I brought you into this world, I can take you out. And that mentality was around and it was common and it was kind of a half joke. But what that pastor said,
That's why I'm running for a third term.
Oh, no,
Honestly,
it's
is because we're
Pritzker.
carrying that through.
Don't go for a
I've
third term,
gotten
Pritzker.
10 credit upgrades for the state. We've balanced the budget every single year. We paid off the entire
Even our
$17
football
billion
team wants to
of
leave
unpaid
you.
bills. Our pension system is in a much better
This guy's
position.
clearly not listening to Pritzker. Oh my gosh. Sorry, people.
Create PDF spaces in a click. Connect your dots.
Don't take that the wrong way.
The worst things ever. Oh, we were going to go to Alex, but Alex dropped. That's probably pretty good. Alex has a history of anti-trans stuff. All right. Patrick is calling from Illinois. Patrick's pronouns are he, him, says the Christian God is the best description for morality and epistemic normativity. Hey, Patrick, you're on with Matt and Seth. How are you?
Hey, I think my original thing was description, but explanation. Thanks for having me on the show. So would we agree that universally humans ought to believe what is true and ought not believe what is false?
All right, just let that sink in because it's going to characterize. As what is this, the B.S. Lewis show? Yeah, it is the B.S. Lewis show with re-examination. Actually, I guess it would be the Re-X Lewis show at this point, right? But real quick, so let's go back to the original question.
The whole thing was description, but explanation. Thanks for having me on the show. So would we agree that universally humans ought to believe what is true and ought not believe what is false? I saw your talk with allegedly Ian,
wow,
so I know you're somewhat of a moral realist.
I give up, Seth. I got a single syllable out before I was interrupted. So,
well, you saw
I'm sorry, I just wanted to clarify with allegedly Ian. That's all. I'm sorry.
You're throwing in a little context. You saw a talk that Matt gave?
Yeah, with allegedly Ian, and I saw that he was leaning towards moral realism. Matt, I did not mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to clarify and give context for everybody if you wanted to fill in where you're at with moral realism.
I'm getting ready to do a new video, and it's not necessarily moral realism. It's an objective foundation that goes beyond what I used to have before. But no, I don't necessarily think that we ought to believe that which is true. I do agree that that is a preference.
Now, in light that you don't necessarily have the belief that you ought to believe it is true, let's go forward when he tries to talk about the atrocities in the Bible that were given as judgments by God, including rape of women, that were punishments that were given by God. By the way, what is the authority that God has to do in order to be blameworthy with his own things? Now, they take up earlier in the broadcast, Seth Andrews says, well, somebody said that we're basically like God's ant farm. Now, I wouldn't put it that way because there's no relationship between ants and people. But because we're made in God's image, there is necessarily a relationship between God and people, human beings. Yeah, exactly. He's already afraid to speak because now he can't claim oughts because he knows that's a dead end. You cannot get oughts from an impersonal being. But the rest of time, before, during, and after, are completely contingent on oughts. And every moral condemnation that's coming out, Lib's always playing the victim. I don't know what he's talking about. But everything going forward, it has to do with oughts. Now, I'm going to bring up the deconversion anecdote in order to press this home. And I think it makes it more uncomfortable.
And I don't know how to justify that as an ought.
Great.
Help
so
me understand real fast, both
action.
of you. Is the word ought thrown out as kind of a tripwire?
It's an imperative, yes.
It's an imperative. Yeah, like we ought, for example, so we would be doing what we ought not do if we say, I don't want to believe that truth. I want to believe a comforting lie. So I'm going to go back to my cult, or I'm going to blast my brains out with drugs, or any number of things. Like if we, like for example, if you say I got deconstructed or I got deconverted out of my religion because the evidence brought me out of that, then what that means is there is a prescription from truth itself that dictates the actions of people, what they ought to do and how they ought to think. That truth itself is prescriptive, absent of anybody's preferences.
Is it prescriptive or can it be descriptive?
Wow. No. There is nothing about anything that is true whatsoever that has an ought to our thinking. None. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Sacrificing at the altar of rationality, rationality itself. You cannot import any sort of normativity, whether that's morality or prescriptivity or any, oh my gosh, any epistemic norms either. Because now, let's say that if there was a bigot and you wanted to look at a people group and say, those people, they're not actually human. They're not as human as I am. There's actually nothing that stops me from saying that or thinking that if I wanted to, according to Matt and Seth here, or at least Matt. I think Seth is still ruminating over the question. Why ought we push Rex to 200 subs? He's just peddling comforting lies. Oh, well, what that would be the question, BS. What's the tiebreaker between giving me more subs and giving me less subs, or not at all? Yeah, Darth says they only use faux oughts or morals as a convenient, deceiving tactic. Right, which is why they try to shame me when I say that God decrees all the atrocities that are going to happen before time, including the death of Christ, including the slaughter of babies in 1 Samuel 15, including all those things. Now, and they're going to make characterizations about me, and later on, Matt calls me a psychopath, which is a design claim, because if there is such a thing as a psychopath that's compared to a way I ought to think, or compared to a brainwave that is objectively better, it's amazing.
Well, if it's descriptive, then it doesn't have an actual prescription. But for example, I could say that humans have X behavior that is, communal, but that's just a description of their behavior. That doesn't necessarily prescribe anything any more than 2 + 2 = 4, or like what the atomic number for lead is.
Where's the lie? Where's the lie? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Just saying, well, why can't it be descriptive? If it's purely descriptive, what is it descriptive of? Is it just descriptive of phenomena? Or is it descriptive of an actual moral ought that exists independently, or whether we think it exists, and independently of what our preferences are? They don't have an answer, so they go to the atrocities in the Bible, and I'm just going to engage with that. I'm just going to tell them, hey, God set all these things in path, even enforce even the bad things. I mean, you look at Job, the Lord gives, the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. I mean, even Job, and I'm gonna go to where it says Job's wife here, because I'm pretty sure Job's wife is that. I wanted to say, is it in 3? No, Job's 3 friends. Satan allowed to test Job. Let's see. Eliphaz. Where? Yeah. Then his wife said, Job 2:9, do you still hold fast your integrity? Curse God and die. Job 2:10, but he said to her, you speak as one of the foolish women would speak. Shall we receive good from God, and shall we not receive evil? In all this, Job did not sin with his lips. God doesn't owe us anything. A good life, a happy life, a ceasing of bad in our life. Any day that is not in hell is mercy compared to hell. That is just basic stuff. And again, you can look at, I just embrace the tough verses. If you're a Christian, embrace the tough verses. Jude 1:4. For certain people have crept in unnoticed too long ago, were designated for this condemnation, ungodly people who pervert the grace of our God into sensuality and deny our only Master and Lord Jesus Christ. So there's a designation there. Go to Romans 9. 13 and 14, I think. As it is written, Jacob I loved, but Esau I hated. What shall I say then? Is there injustice on God's part? By no means, for he says, I will have mercy upon whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So, and then you go down to verse 19. So will you say to me, why does he still find fault? For who can resist his will? Romans 9:20, but who are you, O man, to answer back to God? Will that what is molded say to its molder, why have you made me like this? I mean, you go again to Judas. Judas was the son of perdition. It'd been better, Jesus says to him, if he had never been born. So, and even on top of that, Well, we'll let this progress out a little bit.
I'm sorry. I interjected briefly.
So that's an interesting dynamic between Seth and Matt. I wonder if Seth can tell that Matt is upset for some reason that Seth decided to talk on the show that he is co-hosting.
Go ahead.
Are you saying Matt or me?
I figured Matt was going, but
What are you calling about?
Yeah. So if we ought to believe that if the answer is no to the question, ought we believe what is true and ought we reject that which is false, then truth and falsity in terms of what people believe are of equal value. And there's no tiebreaker between true or false belief. There's just preferences.
Okay. So he says no. I'm about to back that up because that's weird.
If the answer is no to the question, ought we believe what is true and ought we reject that which is false, then truth and falsity in terms of what people believe are of equal value. And there's no tiebreaker between true or false belief. There's just
okay. Once he says no, they're not. He has made a value claim.
Preferences. And therefore deconversion, what it does is it moral maps on the reality around us and uses it to draw away from one conclusion necessarily and draw
I'm sorry,
towards
but
another
you're just
conclusion
wrong.
necessarily.
How am I wrong?
Okay.
The fact that you can't justify believing true things and not believing false things as an actual imperative doesn't mean they're of equal value. We can demonstrate that accurate beliefs have more value, both to the survival of the individual. Not in all cases. There are cases where false beliefs might be beneficial, but that...
Okay. So then if false beliefs would be beneficial, we have two competing norms here. We have the false belief benefit, and then we have the true belief benefit, right? So then if the belief itself is not the thing that justifies itself by virtue of being true, but it's only instrumental, then why are you the guy who says, I want to believe as many true things as possible and reject as many false things as possible, or whatever your phrase usually is?
Doesn't mean that they're of equal value. However, okay, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, so then we're making a value claim about survival and well-being, right? So that would be the tiebreaker between any considerations.
Well, no.
Look at how much thinking he had to do to figure out whether or not value was prescriptive and that if human life and well-being was a value claim or not. And now he's going to go to the instrumental claim or the goal-based objective.
I'm saying that is a potential tiebreaker between those. People might have personal preferences that...
Okay. Then why are you doing what you're doing? Why do you want people deconverted? Why did you get deconverted? Ostensibly, you got deconverted because the evidence drew you away from it, meaning that truth is prescriptive to human behavior and human thought.
That doesn't mean that their personal preferences have anything to do with well-being. I'm trying to figure out. So you're calling in to say the Christian God is the best description for...
Okay, so he pivots and he's going to go to scripture because he can't actually engage with the idea that... I mean, and to be on top of that, everything he's saying, contrary to what I'm saying, is an appeal to the fact that I ought not have said what I said previously and ought not have believed what I believed previously because he has a better explanation that I ought to consider.
Morality. Did the Christian God have David's wives raped?
Yeah. And here's the difference.
And that was a good thing?
Earlier,
and that was a good thing?
Okay. Here's the equivocation that he's depending upon for it was a good thing. Most people have not heard of primary and secondary causation. And I opened this stream up with primary and secondary causation, but the long and short of it is humans are not authorized to take it upon themselves to grape anybody. That is a horrible crime, and that's why it was punished with death in the Old Testament. Okay? And it's also, that would also apply to, hey, Abe Dinkus, Mr. President. But God can do whatever he wants. And if he has fallen creatures, including the devil, which, by the way, he expressly allowed the devil to do whatever he wanted to do to Job, given certain parameters, So would Matt also see that as bad? He probably would. The question is bad by what standard? And he can never answer it. And the fact that he can never answer it is also stemmed from the same fact that why he couldn't come to the conclusion that truth is prescriptive. And yet he relies on it for every show, past, present, and future, every single day of his life.
That in terms of judgment, on the primary level, God cannot categorically be blameworthy because there's no authority above him. You just can't engineer that. So
We were
I'm
just
sorry.
talking about this. We were just talking about divine command theory and vertical
I reject divine command theory.
morality.
I'm sorry.
I reject divine command theory. I reject divine command theory.
I'm sorry, Patrick. You're saying that it was a good thing to have David's wives raped.
See what he does, and then he blames me for dishonesty. He does not understand the difference between people who have no authority over other people's lives versus the ultimate authority, which would be God. Now, Robin, you're going to hate me today. I'm sure B.S. Lewis is going to hate me. Now, these are the most uncomfortable passages in the Bible relating to God and his judgments, things like that. So it's going to get even more intense from here.
There's an equivocation going on here between primary and
No,
secondary.
there's no equivocation going on.
There's an equivocation going on here. You're going to mute me half of the episode. I'm going to mute you, and I'm going to give the actual truth here. The equivocation is it good? The question would be, good for who? Obviously, God cannot categorically do evil. Robin Webster, oh, I hate that I missed your call. Robin, don't say that I didn't try. Don't say that I didn't try. Usually, I don't like debates, but I recognize that Matt Dillahunty is somebody with a brain, and so I wanted to engage. I think in the earlier portion of the discussion, he really didn't have anywhere to go, and I thought that became very apparent very quickly. But if you see Seth Andrews' face, I don't know, maybe I can't actually zoom into that. If you see Seth Andrews' face, he thinks he has me in a corner. The problem is it's self-refuting sort of argument he's using, where here's a standard of morality. By the way, we can't tell you what you should think, but you should change your mind. It's a performative contradiction.
Can God do anything that is not good? Can God do anything that is not good? Can God do anything that is not good? Can God do anything that is...
Okay. This is the petulant portion of the show where I'm trying to give clarity. I don't have to give answers on his terms just because he wants to do it, especially if his answers, or his questions rather, are malformed. And these are all malformed questions evoked to get a certain kind of reaction.
Not good. Can God do anything that is not good?
The question.
Can God do anything that is not?
Robin says, I would never hate you. I know your cult beliefs lead you to defend very disgusting things. Okay, well, you know, Robin, that in Christianity, you can leave without threat of death. It's not like certain other belief systems, and it's not like Scientology either, where they're going to run you down. There's no honor killings that are condoned in Christianity. So without going into all that.
Good. Can God do anything that is not good? You're not going to get to say another word till you answer that question. Can God do anything that is not good?
I don't know why he's dancing around like the fairy godmother with his voice like that.
You're not going to let me parse because you know that I can make it make sense without you.
No, I'm going to mute you. I'm not going to let you lie.
What is a lie? What is a lie, Matt? Is a lie when I know what is true and I do the opposite? How is that possible to do the opposite of what you know that which is true, unless you have moral agency? What is moral agency? Why won't you let me lie? What prescriptive laws exist that would say that you ought not let somebody lie, or that somebody ought not lie? The beginning of this conversation dismantled everything, no matter what, going forward. So anything we talk about Bible atrocities, I'm either going to A, reject your framing, or B, challenge your premise.
To answer this question, liar, you can then go on to try to make yourself look good. But the reality is, I don't need to make myself look good to people who don't understand the issue. I don't care if you don't understand the issue. I understand the issue. If I'm failing to actually parse that out,
part of that is my fault, but the other part of it is the fault of those who can't get their finger off the mute button to actually hear when somebody has something to say. I get it that you're probably used to people who have nothing to say. I get that. But I opened my call with a very interesting premise. The premise is truth is prescriptive. We ought to believe what is true. We ought to reject which is false. That is something you actually behaviorally hold to, or at least profess that you behold to, right? And then we're engaging on a philosophical level at that point. But you didn't like that for some reason. You didn't want to challenge me on the opening that I started with. Isn't that a little strange? You switched. I understand why you want to switch to passages, because I probably shouldn't have picked the prompt, the God of the Bible, da 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 da. But I'm defending the God of the Bible as per my policy anyway. But it still doesn't give you an excuse to go forward and be like, no, I'm not going to let you clarify, even though it's been clear that I have the ability to parse between what is true and what we ought to do. And so do you. And we were engaging on that level up until the point you decided to change with your dancing shoes.
You've already said that God had David's wives raped. In the story, David sinned, and as a punishment to David, God had David's wives raped. And I asked you if that's a good thing. And you...
Because it's a malformed question. Because people listening with their ears, who don't have all the information, who don't know the theology, who don't know philosophy, who don't know logic, they're going to ask, oh, a Christian said that rape in isolation is a good thing. There goes my non-existent monetization. But let's just say that they come into that and they hear, is rape a good thing? And the Christian says, yes. Oh my gosh, the Christian's endorsing rape, because they don't understand what's going on here. If God chooses to inflict a flood, war, famine, siege, disease, any of those things, that is his prerogative. And to call that cruel is to make a value claim and to make a claim of a standard of behavior, while also denying the necessary preconditions for those claims. Darth says, you got to get that gotcha in a minute or less. Honestly, I just speed run these knowing they never the intention of having an honest conversation, so I don't give them the show they wanted. Well, perhaps I gave them the show they wanted, but I want to at least hang in there, because unfortunately, I give too much credence to people. And I also usually the kind of person who doesn't want to ever give up till the bitter end. And so if that's the way it's going to be, I can answer his question, I can engage it, but I'll engage it in such a way that I can clarify it. Okay? Because Matt has been in a really bad mood since his heart attack. Yeah. Well, that stinks.
Your parsing is, well, there's no way to judge God. There's no authority above God. No. Can God do anything that is not good? Does God only do good? You won't answer that question with a yes or no, which would allow...
I'm giving a form of yes that contextualizes the yes, because in most people's minds, most people are so ill-informed about what it would mean to be God that they treat God as if he's another human or a next-door neighbor and not the transcendent spirit person of the universe that doesn't come from the universe, but makes the universe into being, creates and sustains all things, is the grounding of truth, knowledge, rationality, etc. And so most people... I'm not catering just to you and going to assume that you know. I don't even know what you know for real, but I am going to assume that I'm having people in the audience that are lowest common denominator people who haven't thought this through one iota to see the difference between something that is transcendent, something that is contingent. People who are morally accountable to a standard, which, by the way, you can't be morally accountable to rocks. You can't be morally accountable to physics. You can't be morally accountable to open space, right? So what's the correspondence of morality between us and an impersonal source? Robin Webster says most people, obviously. Well, I've said most people a couple of times, so I don't know which most people you're referring to. Sport Brand said it might not be the show they wanted, but it was the show they deserved.
Allow you to continue, because the fact of the matter is, you know that the Bible represents God as, well, actually the Bible represents God as potentially good and evil on different occasions. But is it a good thing? This is the question. I'm even going to type it in above my head, because
On Day 3 says, is it good is such a wild question to ask when you hold no objective standard? Right. their entire show is a performative contradiction. And if you go back and watch this once this live is over, you will see that my opening question, ought we believe that which is true? There is no recovering from that for any of this grandstanding or any of this pearl clutching whatsoever. No human being knows what it's like to be a god. Right. Therefore, atheists can't judge God.
You're not going to bust my zen with your lies.
What? Is this a new thing for Matt? The karaoke? Like, I can't imagine what Seth Andrews is thinking. It's like, this is the guy that made the atheist experience, the atheist community of Austin. And he is hearing a guy who undercut his entire moral framework in the first 60 seconds. And then he's going to continue to make moral claims on top of that because he knows that it's gone. It's like all he's going to do is try and make me uncomfortable. And since he hasn't made me uncomfortable because I know how things are stratified and I know what's at play, then he's going to continue to mute, sing and dance, mute, sing and dance, ask malformed questions.
Was it good to have David's wives raped? There we go. I'm going to put this above my head. This is the question. Was it good? Here's the question for Patrick. Patrick, I'm bringing you back now. There'll be a beep, but you didn't miss anything. So was it good to have David's wives raped?
I can't seem to. Where is that question? Is it somewhere behind the other text box? Where is that? I can't quite see it.
Is a malformed question. You won't accept it. You know the primary and secondary causation, and you will not let me clarify that. So here's the primary and secondary causation.
No.
He could wait for my explanatory model to come out and then debunk my explanatory model. It only has two elements, primary and secondary causation. It's not that hard. And yet he doesn't do that. Because here's the thing. Let's say I am hiding behind a bad argument. Why doesn't he let me cart out the bad argument, demolish the bad argument, and then put me on the spot for the same question that now that my bad defense is out of the way? Why doesn't he do that? Probably because there's no way to do that.
I'm sorry. I don't know how many times I have to explain this to you, dishonest, lying Christians.
Okay, he just made a value claim. He also made a design claim because we are designed to have to tell the truth in the questions when we are pressed upon our responsibility to give answers for our belief. We are, by the way, have you ever had to fight yourself in order to make a lie happen? Like maybe lies don't come naturally to you. And so you have to fight your nature to tell the truth very hard because you don't like lying. You believe that lying is bad. But you're forced under some kind of compulsion to feel like maybe you could get that lie out, but maybe deep down you know that even if you got it out, you have to fight yourself so hard that by the time you say the lie, it's so unconvincing it wasn't worth saying anyway. But yeah, look, to say you're a liar, let's say that was true. Let's say it's true. It's just a descriptor claim in his worldview. Doesn't have anything to do with morality. Doesn't have anything to do with what I should or shouldn't believe, think, or do.
Just answer this question, and then I will give you the space to try to rehabilitate yourself.
That's so generous. Wonderful. He's literally throwing it. Like, this is why I usually don't. The reason I engaged Matt today was basically because I wanted to test my argument. And I think the problem with the way I did it is I prompted it towards a Christian God, which I want to do anyway. I wanted to get to how he reconciled the existence of forgiveness and the existence of justice and how they could coexist together. Because if there's justice, but there is no, you could imagine justice with no forgiveness, but and you can't really imagine all forgiveness and no justice because forgiveness requires an offense that could otherwise have been punished, but instead mercy was chosen. He doesn't do that. Instead, what he does is just say, well, here's a bad circumstance brought upon by God where sin was committed that was ordained by God. Is the sin bad? The sin is bad. Is God at fault? No. I mean, if you want to talk about innocent victims, Jesus Christ was preordained to die on the cross before the foundation of the world. Unapologetic preacher. By the way, if you want, Rev, you can join me tonight, but I know you're busy. So I know things have been changed with you lately. So, but let me know and I can put the link in your Discord because we're going over today's episode. Well, we don't have a Rex and Rev set up, and if we don't want to continue that, that's fine. I get it. You got things going on. But I definitely enjoyed our times of streaming.
You won't answer it because you fundamentally know that everyone who ever watches this is going to have a reaction.
Oh, an ad populum fallacy. People are going to have a reaction. Is that just a descriptive claim? Or are you saying that's an indication of a metaphysical wrong and that these social cues people get are dependent upon moral realities outside of their private opinion? And I'm going to feel this pressure. Oh, you're going to clip me. Guess what? I got a YouTube channel too. It's not even half as big as yours, granted, but you don't get the last word even if you had to mute me 10,000 times when I reject your poor framing.
To rape and to using rape as a punishment. Rape as a punishment would be wrong even if the person who was being raped was the one who did wrong and was being punished. That would still be immoral. It's especially immoral.
Why? Why? Do you have an answer for this? You just stinking got done telling the whole world. You want to tell me what the whole world says? Your whole world just heard you say that you not necessarily have to believe anything that's true or disbelieve anything that's false. And then you're going on this? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
And wrong if it's done to...
Wrong as opposed to what? Wrong by what standard? This is boring. This is fundamentally boring. I really don't understand where you're coming from. Hold on, Rev. I'm gonna find you in my chat. You're down here somewhere. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Rev. So this is for this stream, but we're gonna do a moral argument marathon later, where we have an actual argument where I get to bring out a little more of my approach with an honest interlocutor. Somebody who is like, you're talking about dishonesty, some guy who won't even let me clarify my position. You want the best arguments against your position, Matt, and yet you yourself won't let me talk about primary and secondary causation, which I don't know if you know what primary and secondary means, if it doesn't mean two, which means it would have two steps, which means it wouldn't take all day for me to explain it.
Punish someone else. It reinforces the idea that his wives are his property, and I will punish you by doing harm and...
No, your people are not property. Even on biblical terms, people are not property. So that would be a category error there as well. You just inserted that in with your own sensibilities. Robin Webster says, I can do a better job than Matt at having this discussion. I think you could 100% because... Again, Robin, I think I might have shared with you my back and forth with Shiva, where we have good faith, open, paced, honest discussions, long sessions of one listening to another, long sessions of being felt like they can be heard and talk about it, lay out the chessboard, and take our time and appreciate each other as human beings while talking about uncomfortable things. Most people can do that. And some people who've established their little castle need a show where they can mute people if they even want to clarify their beliefs and where they're coming from. I bet you Matt Dillahunty wants to give people lots of books on advanced philosophy and atheism and say, read these books. You're not read well enough. You need more information. You're behind. You need to catch up to get to my level. Yet if one guy says, I have an interesting take on how I stratify morality between God and his creation. And then he's like, no, I don't accept that. I'm going to actually put God down to your level as if he was another human and address him as such and not call it a straw man and then say you're being dishonest. Come on. Unapologetic preacher. Getting settled after the move has been a hurdle, but I've been using some force doctrine to make it all work out. Oh, yeah, bring on the force doctrine.
Damage to your property.
If you don't know what's wrong, know where to go. Veg, the better, kinder ER for pets. Oh my.
Increíble.
By the way, this video was not brought to you by vets or Jason.
Since you're not going to answer that question, we're going to come up with a different question.
Raise them up, everybody, for the missing mod. And by the way, this is live. Just because it says "re" at the beginning of it doesn't mean that it is a rebroadcast of anything. Robin Webster says, "I won't even mute you." Well, Robin, you know from our actual conversations that you won't have to, because I do have the I might over-explain sometimes, but I do have the capability of being polite, even though it's going to make it look like I'm not polite or I'm not honest in this, because let's be honest, most atheists are not going to listen to this episode and be like, look, I think maybe this guy had something more to say, because they're so theologically inept that they won't understand the doctrines. They act like for hundreds of years, Christians have never struggled with these questions and how things work, and it's only them who's come along to do any actual thinking. Unbelievable.
We'll see if this one isn't malformed.
Robin Webster says, Matt's audience is not there for conversations. They're there to watch Matt mute people. Oh, very true. Hey, Mod.
Do-do-do.
Okay. 3 times. That is 3 times he's been singing. Is this a new thing with him? I want to know.
How you doing, Seth?
I'm just trying to figure out how you can even approach the idea of rape with an equivocation.
Especially with the Autobots and Decepticons coming to destroy the planet. We have to save Earth.
Or a pause. How it cannot be immediately condemned.
Well, it's weird that you actually said that, because the question that I was typing, which I'm now going to put over my head, which we're going to bring Patrick in to try
Which is going to do nothing because nobody can actually read it.
and dodge again, is this. Patrick, under what circumstances should someone be raped as punishment?
Again, this is an equivocation. They think they have something. In reality, they have absolutely nothing whatsoever. Okay? Again, the awful atrocities that are done by people are not endorsed by God, even though God ordained that they would happen. There's a difference there. Not everything that is permitted circumstantially is endorsed morally. They don't get that. They don't understand that one bit. They think that if God sets something in motion, therefore he approves the thing set in motion necessarily. They haven't actually made that. They haven't actually proved that. They can't use the Bible to prove that. People got punished for their free will choices for within. And by the way, we're going to get to free will later because they bring it up as if it's a gotcha. It is not a gotcha. Every single worldview out there has to tango with the free will, predestination, or determinism problem.
That's the next question.
In terms of those who can do the raping, obviously nobody should rape anybody, but that's the secondary clarification that you won't allow to come out.
I'm sorry. I just allowed you to say that.
Uh-huh. Then why didn't you allow me to say it all the other times? You want to pat yourself on the back for the one time you didn't mute, and you're going to use some kind of post hoc justification to say, I allowed you to say something that should have been said earlier, and I'm going to congratulate myself for allowing you to say it now, as if I intended to allow you to say it in the first place. Dr. Rana says, the question is already set up as a narrative that atheists morals say is subjectively wrong, and it doesn't, so you have to call that out in a sentence in less than 12 words. Yeah. Where Matt is failing is to explain his justification for judging the morality of the Bible. Thank you. Why does it take... I mean, Robin is clearly the smarter atheist here.
I asked you, under what circumstances? You did not answer my question. So here we go. Try this again, Patrick. Under what circumstances should rape be used as a punishment?
By whom?
Anyone.
Again, they're so inept with their reasoning that but the by whom question, they understand it to be among humans. At no point ever should humans grape anybody. When I say by whom, it's because he's such a trigger happy mute guy that he can't handle any answer with nuance. He treats nuance as dodging, but he himself cannot handle a primary secondary causation explanation. Now, he does give me room, 60 seconds, he says. I don't know if that's true, but we'll find out. 60 seconds, he says, to give my explanation towards the end. So I give a rapid fire explanation of where I'm at. Now, when I say by whom, what I'm saying is they are conflating God's ordinance and God's ordaining with the actions of people, and they won't acknowledge that.
I'm sorry.
This is not
Matt,
going well for
here's
you,
the deal.
Patrick. Indulge me for a
Okay.
second, Matt.
No,
Hang
no.
on. I know.
You are here. Hold on.
No.
I know you
Seth
don't want to
wants to
seminar
say something,
column,
and then I'm going to
but-
say something. You're not going to say shit until I say otherwise, Patrick.
The morbid curiosity in me would like to.
Amazing. I wonder if he ever calls God like a divine dictator or something like that. Okay. Wait a minute. Let's think a little meta for a moment. This is his show, and Matt gets to mute people, and Matt gets to talk over people because it's his domain and because he owns it. And I ought to understand that that's the way things are, and that's just how it goes. But if I say reality is God's domain and he gets to do whatever he wants, and you don't get to say anything back to God, well, hold up. So you can interrupt me, but I can't interrupt you. It is a one-way street, and it's not injustice because it belongs to you. That undercuts your point, Matt. That's the necessary asymmetry of ownership, Matt. What's wrong with you? Everybody actually understands. I wonder if Matt has ever said to himself, well, I can't run a red light, but this cop here can run a red light. Probably not. Probably because he knows how this works. Probably because he can figure out that there are different priorities to authority and stratification. Only a child would think that a cop shouldn't be able to run a red light because I'm not able to run a red light. And yet he runs his show the exact way he's criticizing God for running his show.
Hear him. Would like to give him just enough rope to hang himself and let him go
yes.
for about 25 seconds. Would that be okay? Because I'm insanely curious as to what comes next.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing. I'm going to unmute you now, Patrick. I know I'm going to wait for the beep, and I'm going to say this.
I do talk really fast to begin with. In fact, they say so towards the end.
So in answer to your question, when I said under what circumstances should rape be used as a punishment, you said for whom? By God.
Here's what
Against someone. Under what circumstances should God use rape as a punishment?
Because he is truth, he can use whatever secondary means he wants to, including the death of anybody in any circumstance. God has decreed from the beginning to the end how things would go, and yet the free will choices of his creatures are still the free will choices of his creatures, regardless, because they did exactly what they wanted to do. Again,
Now look at the expressions on their faces. They think they got me. But one of the things I bring up later is how an atheistic form of evolution actually poses you with a very similar problem. But they didn't think about that. We'll get to that in a moment.
Could God have punished David?
Revelation 13.
Could God have punished? I'm sorry. I let you give your answer. Could God have punished David without having his wives raped?
Yep.
Entirely possible. God could have not had that
means,
happen. Yes.
That means that God could have opted for a different punishment, but God,
which is a non-point. Could things have been different? Yep. And unless you're making a value claim that is objective, that I ought to follow from reality, because reality is prescriptive, which you deny, you have no point. All of this is garbage. All of this is bunk.
God specifically opted to have David's wives raped. correct?
I'm sorry, I didn't know when I was on the air or not. Am I back yet?
Yeah. So God could have used a different punishment, but he opted to use the punishment of having David's wives raped. Is that correct?
Yeah, he could have used no punishment. He could have had David killed.
I'm sorry. When I ask a yes or no question, I only need the yes because.
Well, I'll give you what I'll give you because you're not God and you can't actually tell me what to say. Now, while it is your show and I can respect your format, my argument at the beginning of this was way better, and that's why you pivoted to whatever passage you want to pivot to in order to straw man the Christian position and get the theology all wrong and conflate primary and secondary causation as you are wont to do. But you can't escape the truth of this.
I'm building to the next thing. I'm sorry you don't understand how this works, but we'll get there. So
I said yes.
I'm
and
sorry.
then some.
I don't
Go
know
ahead.
why you're even speaking. It's my turn right now. It's a matter of fact.
Okay. I want everybody to drink in this next moment.
To the next thing. I'm sorry you don't understand how this works, but we'll get there. So
I said yes.
I'm
and
sorry.
Then some.
I
Go
don't know
ahead.
why you're even speaking. It's my turn right now. It's a matter of fact, it's almost always my turn. But here we go.
I know.
If God could have, yes, I know. Would you shut up so I don't have to mute you again and let me finish? Thanks.
Divine retribution from the almighty Dillahunty.
If God could have used a different punishment, but God opted to use this punishment, then I'm assuming you are fine with God using that punishment. You don't have any objection. You don't.
Okay, you see what he's doing? He once again, he is conflating me being fine with grape as an action with me not judging God's actions with what he does with what belongs to him. And most dunderheads who listen to this think that he's making a good point. And I say dunderheads like lightly here because look, anybody who's a serious thinker is able to distinguish what the free will choices of creatures are and the pre-existent determinations that brought those things into place. And since that there is no contradiction between the free will of the people who had those intents in their hearts already and the decree of God that such a thing would happen, what's the actual dilemma I have to work with here? Because God himself is not doing the action. God does not condone the action. The fact that it's a punishment shows that it is a form of what is less than ideal in the universe anyway. So it's already an expression of the evil that's going on. The fact that he's using it as a judgment because the world is not supposed to be the way it is. The world is an awful place. The world is full of awful people. I'm one of them, right? And so are you. So let's understand something in a theological context. I don't think atheists are able to deal with the God of the Bible as he describes himself. I think atheists are forced to, in one doctrine or another, or in several simultaneously, twist it and turn it and make it into something it is not in order to attack what is not. But what they can't tell me is why categorically the foundation of truth and reality can be evil. Because you would have to have a standard beyond reality, which would supersede reality in the first place, which would mean whatever you're calling reality in your framework is not the ultimate reality, but a contingent reality, right? So seeing as God is not under a law, there's no law he can violate. Everything belongs to him. Categorically, he cannot do anything wrong.
Have any moral objection, right?
This is a conflation all the way down from the beginning to the end.
This is really simple. This is really simple, Patrick.
No,
it's simple for those who don't understand.
Do you,
if you're not able to parse it? Yeah,
Patrick. Okay, I'm not going to let you bust my zen. You're not fucking worth it. I'm going to unmute you. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to type the question again because you're a little floundering. You've already basically acknowledged this.
Can I tack one on while you're? I mean, you don't have to type it. Why would any punishment be meted out to someone other than David? He's punishing David. Why was somebody else punished?
It'll be the same. Proxy. It'll be the same answer because
that question would only make sense if you have an objective metric of fairness by which to judge other metrics of fairness. Which, by the way, you can't do because you already admitted that which is true ought not necessarily influence what we should think. You think you're embarrassed. Just wait. You think I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for you guys because you are celebrating your touchdown dance at the 50-yard line. You absolutely wrecked your case for everything ever going forward. No bots. Nothing that is true ought to influence what you think. So why are we having a conversation?
God gets to do whatever he wants.
Okay. All right.
So, Patrick, I've unmuted you. Do you have a moral objection to God using rape as punishment?
Oh, no, because God is the truth and he can do whatever he wants, not humans.
Yeah. Patrick.
That's not
Is he going to equate the two, both God and humans? Honestly.
You act like I wasn't aware that that's what you were trying to say the whole time. I don't know why you wouldn't just give the answer. And
I'm not going to give the answer in this stupid, dumbed down format that you tried to cater to me, which is saying that, hey, are grape good, der? I'm not going to go with that, sir. I know how that sounds, and I know that words matter. I know that understanding matters, and context matters, and where we frame our words matter in terms of how we define them. To say, is a thing good, that especially to put ultimacy under judgment, that's circular. How can you put ultimacy under, even if you don't agree with what my idea of what ultimacy is, you still can't put it under judgment and call yourself a logical thinker if this is what you're doing.
the answer is that Patrick has no objection.
Lazy question.
I'm sorry. I don't know why you're fucking opening your fucking mouth. Shut your pie hole. The fact of the matter is, Patrick has just acknowledged that he has no moral objection to God using rape as punishment, even though God had other options. And he believes this because he thinks God is true. And so, for clarity, Patrick, does that mean that God has no moral judgment upon?
I can't speak to inspiring philosophy, Darth Uranus. You have to get back to me on that.
Does that mean that God has no moral judgment upon his actions because he is
in life?
Oh no.
Growth doesn't happen alone. But in business,
entail that we
No, that was it. You don't get to do a but and continue. I'm going to bat you around like a little fucking chew toy, and I'm going to make $1 million off of your clip, because Patrick is basically saying he knows that the God of the Bible, who we have no reason to think exists.
That would only make sense if truth was prescriptive to actually influence your reasoning in order to adopt one thing over the other, which you deny the existence of at the very opening gate.
Patrick has not made any demonstration that God is truth.
Maybe stop sitting on the mute button and you'd hear something.
Patrick has not made any demonstration that God is moral or what morality is.
Okay, what is the pass-fail for ultimacy? It's a nonsense question.
But Patrick is completely convinced that because in his view, God can do no wrong, which is the question he should have answered earlier. Can God only do good? Yes.
Okay, here's the problem. Your audience, and apparently you yourself, if you are honest, aren't able to parse out the language barrier that comes with, can God only do wrong? God ordained bad thing, therefore God can do bad thing. That's what you're trying to set me up for. And I'm not falling for it because I can parse between primary and secondary causation, primary being foundational, secondary being contingent. Anti-Dearest, welcome to the show. The host of whatever we're watching here is kind of annoying. Re-examination, what's his deal? He is a very angry atheist. I don't know if he considers himself anti-theist or not, but I called into his show and he had the time of his life.
Because God, by definition, is truth. God, by definition, is morality, which means there is no moral assessment on our part that we can attribute to God.
That's the best thing you've said yet.
That's what Patrick's view is.
Yep.
Patrick is a mindless robotic slave.
If you are a physicalist, then you're also a mindless robotic slave. I mean, this is, again, absolute fail by Matt Dillahunty to actually prove his point here. Because if physicalism is true, if naturalism is true, then all we are just windsocks in the space-time continuum, receiving waves of physics that we are just responding to, and it's no more than the twitchings of a corpse, really. So to say that I'm a slave is to compare me to somebody who is not a slave, somebody who can think for themselves. Well, the question is, if somebody can think for themselves, but truth is not prescriptive for what we ought to think, and it's not prescriptive to tell us what we ought not think, in terms of untruth is the thing we ought not think, then what's your point?
Thinks he's a plaything of God. And so was David, and so was David's wives. And Patrick is fine with.
Well, if you want to use biblical language, God is the potter and we are the clay. And so, he can harden who he hardens and he can have mercy upon who he has mercy. This is just basic biblical doctrine. And you're taking a moral stance against that. I'm guessing this is an atheist. Or maybe I don't know. I'm just basing that on how he phrases things.
God using rape as punishment, and using rape as punishment when it's not even directed at the person he's trying to punish. Patrick,
you just sound scared to call into the show. Who's going to tell him?
Called in to explain that the Christian God is the best description of morality, and to object to the moral systems that the rest of us would advocate for. And in doing so, he has made an embarrassing show of his own view on morality, that he is
an embarrassing show entails what Matt Dillahunty explicitly denies, which is that truth ought to influence our thinking because truth is prescriptive and untruth we ought reject as a rule.
Unwilling and unable to actually use his mind and his heart and his empathy and his compassion to understand that nobody, no being, no agent, even a God, could be viewed as morally correct in raping someone as a punishment, especially for something somebody else did. But Patrick wants to spin. And because Seth asked, and because I'm amused, and because I've already got the clip I got out of Patrick, I'm going to unmute you in a second, and you're going to get to do your best for 60 seconds. I'm starting a timer. I'm going to give you.
This whole stream is about me calling in. So your comment that I'm too scared to call in was just not true off the gate.
A full 60 seconds to do your best to explain to everybody who's going to watch this clip exactly why it's okay for God to have people raped. 60 seconds starts now.
So as you can see, we ought to follow that which is true, and we ought to deny that which is false, because truth is prescriptive. It's from the beginning to the end. This has been an entire performative contradiction. If you want to talk about primary and secondary causations, you can look at Revelation 13:8, where Christ himself was slayed from the foundation of the world. Thereby, by definition, every atrocity, everything was deemed to happen by God, including the flood, including war, including slaughter, including rape, all those sorts of things. And to say that that makes him a bad God is to beg the question of by what standard, which every atheist has to do from the very beginning. They have to value map all of these things, which they can't actually attribute to, because they can't find a tiebreaker between any dilemma or any comparison of any good or the contrary of any good in any sense whatsoever. So all of these objections, which don't parse between secondary and primary causation, also have a problem of saying, well, I didn't do it. The Big Bang did it. I didn't do it. Physics did it. I didn't do it. Evolution did it. They can just kick the can down the road and make nonsense out of primary and secondary causation. Now, if you look this up, God deems what's going to happen, but he uses the free will choices of his creatures in order to ordain those things. And we have the same problem with atheism, because if we believe we're accountable, like I'm accountable for my words and actions, then therefore I can't blame evolution, because even though I'm just a product of matter and motion, I still have responsibility somehow. I still have justice. I still have actual guilt. None of this makes sense.
Okay.
Where's the lie? Where's the lie? So on the one hand, we have Christianity, right? In Christianity, You have the primary cause, which is God saying this atrocity is going to happen, or this good thing is going to happen, or anything is going to happen whatsoever. Everything comes down to God's decree, which is what establishes God's foreknowledge, by the way, his decree. Then, on the other hand, you have secondary causation, which is the free will choices that you and I take that carry out God's plan as he planned it, but are in accordance with what we want to do anyway, what we would have done anyway. That's the secondary causation, right? I don't claim to know how it all works out, but then we have atheism, right? Then we have atheism. Now, let's just say you're in a court of law. You've been accused of committing a crime. You did commit that crime. You are in the witness stand, and the judge is asking you, did you do X crime? And then you say, actually, it was really just the chemicals in my brain. It wasn't me. It was just evolution. And nobody can blame me because there are precedents of things that happened before me, which ultimately mathematically equated to the actions that it looks like I took, but free will isn't real because something happened to influence me to some degree. You could do that with any worldview you want. They choose to use it against Christianity, but it applies to them too. They just don't use God to do it. It's the same thing. Yeah, did you use God's plan and free will in the same sentence? Square that circle. The same thing applies to you. The same thing applies to you. For example, if you believe that you're an atheist, and you can also reason, which means that your thoughts exist independently of the natural world's influence upon you, then you accept two things at the same time. If you're an atheist, you believe that you are no more than matter. There's nothing immaterial about you. And yet, the very behaviors you do, the very choices you make, and the reasoning you use are dependent upon being not based in matter. Your thoughts, your reasonings, your value claims would not be based in matter. And therefore, you also have to deal with the fact that there is predestination and free will. It's really hard for an atheist to get around hard determinism and also to ask how they used reason to get there. It's the contradiction at the heart of every Abrahamic religion crisis. It's the contradiction. It is the reality at every worldview level. That's not what atheism is. Are you? That's what they say about everything. They'll just claim that it's not what atheism is. Atheism, I guess. Okay. So if you want to take it in the broadest sense, atheism is the what they call the lack of belief in gods. That's fine. Okay. So if you're not a materialist atheist, then you believe in some kind of spirit world. My mind is part of the natural world. Okay, then that means your mind is subject to physics. How can you try and say this separate from the natural world when we can shew your connection between the brain and the mind? Then, okay, so the brain would be distinct because it is the meta organ. It has to do with what is outside itself, which no other organ really seems to understand or have the capacity for what is outside the self. Some do. That's not an atheist worldview. You're attributing a view to all atheists. So there are atheists who believe in some gods. Is that what you're saying? Okay, ridiculous. Okay. By the way, all of this is predicated upon whether or not I should believe true things and should reject false things. Not just the connection, but a requirement of the brain in order for the mind to exist. What is the mind in your worldview, if not the brain? If it's emergent from the brain, then how do we know that what the mind does is... Darth Uranus, you should actually check out my talks with Shiva, who is one of the smartest atheists I know, and he is not a convinced physicalist. So, and by the way, if you are a Buddhist, there are some spiritual branches of Buddhism, as far as I know. Reformed theology teaches that real measures of freedom has been assigned to man by God, but that freedom isn't absolute, and man is not autonomous. Darth, there are worldviews out there that say the spirit is not from a god, so you might want to check that out. You just strawmanning my one sentence. That takes skill. Okay. Sir, just get to the point. Obviously, atheists claim that their view is a lack of belief in God. That's usually what they say. Some have spiritual means and some do not. Most do not. Usually they find some kind of inconsistency with the atheism and the spiritual means and having the same kind of skeptical arguments that they typically would. So if you are one that does believe in the spiritual realm, then what makes God a bad model of understanding? And then if you don't believe in the spiritual realm, then what separates your thoughts from just reactions to chemicals and physics in the universe? No other organ has an understanding of something outside itself. No, that is a ridiculous claim. The eyes have their own separate immune system, entirely independent from our primary immune system. That's not awareness or consciousness that we're talking about with the brain. And by the way, everything you say about the body that requires metacognition in order to exist is a problem for atheists. It's not a problem for Christians. Our freedom is in all ways limited by God's sovereignty. When our freedom bumps up against God's sovereignty, our freedom must inevitably yield. Darth, I don't know what you're saying here. Let's finish up here because
I gave you actually a
I
minute.
was counting the non sequiturs, but real fast, Matt. I'm sorry. Free will. He just throws free will in there, and it's it's like we had a whole different conversation for about 4 seconds. Like, we're not talking about free will.
Okay, so if we're not talking about free will, then how can you indict anybody for anything? Because if you assume that God has free will, then why are we blaming him if he doesn't have free will? Who said anything about the spiritual realm? My point is that you were attributing evolution and scientific truths to atheist worldview like it's some doctrine. I love watching theists do this. It doesn't have to be, but on average, that's what happens. You can't say that on average it's illogical to assume based on statistics that an evolution or an atheist would be an evolution proponent. And Linden says, it is indeed aware and conscious of pathogens, otherwise how would it be capable of deploying antibodies? The question is, how does that have to do with a brain in terms of its consciousness? I'm talking about the consciousness from the standpoint of a person. Even if you wanted to grant that there was some consciousness of organs independently, first of all, you would have to assume that can just come by physical means because it has to, because atheism is true. But that would be, circular. I'm a Calvinist. I held to all points. That doesn't mean it has anything to do with atheism. This is all just useless conversation at this point. What actual point do you have to make? It is obviously true that most atheists are going to be proponents of evolution. And to say that, oh, well, there are some that aren't. Okay, so either you're going to declare your position or you're going to say that there's a spiritual realm. If you're going to say that you're an atheist who believes in a spiritual realm, you're going to have to tell me why believing that that spiritual realm doesn't have a spiritual origin is untenable or something that you prefer not to believe. Robin wants to have the conversation soon. Bye, buddy. Now, Rev, you do have the link on Discord if you want to jump on and have a convo. I am here. It is a sunny day, but it's so unbearably hot. That's obviously not true. One has whether or not has anything to do with the other is still a statistical statement that is absolutely true. Like for example, if you want to say like most people from a certain culture like wear a certain kind of garb, right? They don't necessarily have to do with each other, but it's not an unreasonable expectation that statistically that's where you're going to run into. So all of this stuff is just irrelevant. I think you must be a little bit behind in the tracking conversation. Unless the conversation goes that and make a point, you have no justification in assuming it. Okay. So do you accept the fact that reality is prescriptive to our thoughts? We ought to think that which is true. We ought to reject that which is false. Aiden Linden said, you said the brain's the only organ within our body that's aware of other things besides itself. Yeah, in reference to the person. But in terms of like some kind of reflexive function that I think is more about design, which requires a metacognition in the first place, we were talking about personhood because we were talking about free will. So in that context, are you going to say that the I has a free will in the same way that a whole person has a free will? Yeah, I have the link. Oy vey. Before I give you the link, Aiden, is this going to affect whether or not we come into certain other streams later on? Reality is subjective to our own personal experience with reality. The obvious question is that objectively true? But you know, we've been down that road so many times. Aiden, no problem. If not, no, Aiden, I can let you on, Aiden. I just want to know if however this conversation goes, I can still avail of your thoughts this coming Wednesday, basically. Examination finally got that 7K deposit. I don't know what he's talking about. Somebody help me with the context of this 7K deposit meme. Is this a meme? What's going on? I'll just send you the link, Aiden. Yeah, I agree, Aiden. I'm just making sure because, you know, things can turn dramatic, unfortunately, on YouTube, and they're not meant to be, you know. So I wouldn't want that to happen. He thinks I don't understand. Oh, sorry to hear about that, Abe. Aiden, check your Discord. Aiden is housebroken. Aiden, you have the link. So how's everybody doing today? I guess he didn't want to download the app. Well, that's good because I gave you that link for a reason, Aiden, beforehand. So you would know whether or not you want to download an app or not. Hey, Kelly, how's it going? Bubby, not so much. Guess we're taking a rest at this point, waiting for my Canadian brother from another mother to make his way up to the Re-Examination Show studios. Glad to hear everybody's doing well. Abe Dinkus's life has calmed a bit. Sounds good. I'm obviously still broadcasting from the surface of the sun, and welcome to Aiden Linden. Where is that man? It said, I clicked the let in button. Aiden, try one more time. It said Aiden is in the back. There's a big purple button that said let in. I clicked it. There we go. Hey, how you doing?
Oh, you let me in that time. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, doing all right. All right. Why don't you give me your thoughts and reflections, and I will just let them go uninterrupted in good faith.
Sure. So, I would say that the idea of a free will, when we think of the free will, we think of it in the context of our brain, but as we were having a conversation earlier about how, in my opinion, the brain is not the only organ that we can demonstrate has functions that operate independently of recognizing other things around it, we need to recognize that what would constitute free will only goes as far as what that organ is capable of actually doing, right? So, an eye that is invested with free will is clearly not going to be capable of growing legs and walking out of the socket and just going and doing whatever the hell it wants. It's going to only operate within the confines of what is available to it. And the reason why I say that the immune system is a good argument for that is because when you encounter certain quote-unquote pathogens, like badly denatured alcohol, for example, and you drink that, you can go blind because while your regular immune system will register that and fight it appropriately, your eyes register, I think it's a specific protein within the alcohol that will cause them to basically go haywire, and the resulting overcompensated attack that they wreak upon your eye will cause you to go blind as a result. It essentially self-destructs accidentally. So even though your brain, I'm sure, in the midst of that is not going, hey, it's time to go blind now, your eyes are essentially going, oh crap, we need to go deal with this, and as a result have totally overblown it as a result. Or sorry, I totally was a bit Department of Redundancy department there, pardon me. But anyways,
that was repetitive, redundant, and unnecessarily duplicative.
Duplicious, as Brett Keane would say. That's one of my favorite words of his.
Duplicious is my favorite chocolatey drink.
Deceptionos, they're magically duplicious. I'll give the Amazing Atheist credit for that one.
Unfortunately, I think the Amazing Atheist's best work was when he was roasting teenage magazines, if you remember that one.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
I still, all these years later, remember, like, there was some catty insult in one of the columns about one girl's, like, outfit, and he goes, oh, tss,
Say what you will about him, he's pretty good with comedy, man.
Oh my gosh,
being funny.
He didn't get and lose 1 million subscribers for nothing.
It's true. It's very true.
But to get to what you were saying, I don't disagree with anything you just said. I meant in terms of personhood, consciousness, like individuality of a person, awareness. So all that stuff in terms of having functions referential to externalities, like our organs having that. I agree with all that with the immune system, but I meant it in terms of like brain being a person, and maybe you have a different understanding of what constitutes human personhood in your worldview. But I'd like to hear what you think about that.
I think that the idea of individuality is a very myopic representation. It's a very oversimplification of what consciousness seems to be. It seems that what we are, especially when we do, I believe it's called a hemispherectomy, when you essentially cut the brain in half and you do experiments on somebody with that, they, I forget a bunch of the specifics regarding that. There's a very good video on that by CGP Grey called You Are Two that I would recommend anybody go and check out. But
it's on YouTube?
Yeah. It seems that what makes up you as a person seems to not necessarily be one individual. It seems to be a tapestry of not necessarily people, but aspects of your consciousness working in tandem with each other. Kind of like how when you run, there's not just, even though your mind is telling your body to run, you may be only thinking of running at that point. There's a myriad of different operations your body has to go through in order to actually make that locomotion happen. The same is true for the mind in general and how that mind functions. And I think we had at least a basic understanding of that through the fact that there are specific aspects of our brain that we can see are linked to parts of our behavior. Like, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Phineas Gage. He's one of the more famous cases in medical science. He ended up having, he didn't have a hemispherectomy, but he ended up having a railroad spike through an accident forcibly lodged through his brain that caused massive destruction within it. But as a result, it changed massive parts of his personality. He became much more impulsive. He became much more rude.
I've heard those stories before, like car accident, same thing. There was one case where the guy had a car accident and he became a math genius, which is like the best accident you could. I think it changes the person in other ways, but it's like, why did I go to college? Why did I spend all that money? I should have just didn't ghost riding down the 405 or something.
Right, right. Yeah, I think that it's not necessarily just I'm me and I'm just one. The individual that is me is just one consciousness that only does one thing. I think that that's a very gross underrepresentation of what it means to be a person, and I think the fact that if you do sever things like the prefrontal cortex or the hippocampus, that does change aspects of your personality. That seems to be indicative of that.
Yep.
So
no, I mean, dude, if you've been in my head, which you probably haven't, and I'm sure the same thing is true about your head, you're probably the kind of person who's like me, is in they are running so many different programs of thought simultaneously that must be built upon so many other different subconscious motives at the same time, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I had an example, but I forgot it because my other programming ran override the other programming.
Well, and my beautiful fiance just got home. I will be right back. I'm just going to go greet her.
Aiden Linden, was Hassan Piker busy? Yeah, he was too busy tasing an entire dog shelter. So.
Doom.
That's what the missing mod sounds like when she's off air. She just doesn't want anybody to know about it. You know what? I might as well just throw this down for everybody who wants it. Seeing as we're doing this. Copy. And then paste. Alrighty, y'all. Let's have some fun. Let's have a rare Rex open panel. Why am I doing this? Because I'm crazy. That's why. I'm gonna pin this towards the bottom. There we go. I wish I finished my dishes or I joined you. Huh? I wish I finished my dishes. Oh, I wish. Period. I finished my dishes or I join you guys. That means either you have dishes to do and so you have to do the dishes so you can't join us, or I just finished my dishes so my hands are wet and so now I can't use my computer for like another 20 minutes. I do slam music on the side.
I'm sorry, I don't have a piffy instrument to play at my return, so I'll just ask you to ding me in, Mr. Reexamination.
Actually, monologue for a second. I'll get you your instrument. 1 second.
There we go. You see, Reexamination graciously. Blah. Wow. It's going to sound like I just went and had a swig of brandy there for a second. Reexamination graciously. He graciously, pardon me, decided to monologue while I went and greeted my fiance, so it's only natural that I do the same thing in return. How's everybody doing out there today? I'm doing pretty decent this fine Sunday. I did a bit of recording for Christian's audiobook that's going to be hopefully coming out here fairly soon. Ideally, I would like for Angel Below to release in its entirety before I get off to university here. I'm also going to be working on the book after that.
I'm off to uni.
I'm off to uni, guys.
I don't know who's best over here.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's an Aiden approved impression right there.
Yeah,
that's good.
Let me see if I where is it? I have also primary and secondary katana.
Oh dang. Oh dang, Rex is shredding it. He's shredding it! Dang. I'd say the other D word, but this is a Christian program.
You probably couldn't hear any of that, could you?
I could barely hear it. I could hear it very faintly, but I did in fact hear the shred.
You couldn't hear any of that, could you?
Yeah, like I said, I could hear it faintly. I could hear
Oh.
it faintly in the distance, but I did in fact hear the shred occur.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out because I used to be able, maybe StreamYard's better for this, but I used to be able to take my guitar and like make it the output here. But it's not letting me do that for some reason. Huh.
Kelly edifying the Christian community around her by saying, I don't often chug vodka, often on Sunday, but when I do.
It's because Re-Exam is talking.
That's right. Gotta get through the stream somehow. Glug, glug, glug.
Yeah. I don't know why I put myself through this. This is just like Guantanamo Bay style torture at this point. Faintly. Nuts. So sad. So sad. You know, I go down to audio. I click on it, speaker, headphones, microphone, and then it doesn't let me go to my amp. That's so sad.
What the heck? What the heck? This is the
What is this world coming
21st freaking century, and Re-Examination can't even shred on his live stream. What kind of America are we living in, ladies and gentlemen? That's what I have to ask you. Left wing, right wing. Let's put ideology aside for a moment and acknowledge the fact that Re-Examination can't even rock the house. There it is! There it is. Much better.
I gotta amp that up even better. All right. Since I can't do it the nice clean way where it's the inline, I guess I gotta do it the other way.
Damn. Dude. You really gotta go, like... G-dang, son. G-dang. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
Sunday!
you're tuning in to the Re-Examination Podcast!
Does consciousness exist?
You're about to find out if Aiden's consciousness still exists after I put him through this table, brother!
Talk about a headbanger!
I'm telling you, dude, you told me, and through all the references you've made over the years, you've been around YouTube for a minute. You've been around the block, all right?
Yeah.
So you really just got to embrace, like, 2009, 2008, like, YouTuber energy, and just, like, just start a live one day, and don't even
with
have
all the
this
jump
set...
cuts? No way.
No. Go the other way about it. Go the other way completely. You got to make it as raw as possible. You got to start it. Not even have this set whatsoever. Just start with your dimly lit bedroom, and then you're sitting there, and you just start freaking shredding that guitar, and you go, "Hey, everybody, how's it going? Re-examination here."
Yeah, I haven't been posting in a while. I know I still need to post more, but like life has been really busy, you guys, and I just,
dude.
Yeah, 2009, the charm of simplicity back then. It felt like an of the people kind of thing.
27,000 views, dude. I'm telling you. First video you make of that, 27,000 views.
Yeah, well, currently, my better performing shorts have been the Andrew shorts. Oh wait, hold on.
You can just do that, guys. Like,
so much fun.
At any given moment in time, he could just be like, you know what I'm gonna do? And his neighbors are like, all right, we get it.
Why don't you just do that with your mouth, Aiden? Every show just open up with a musical opening with mouth noises.
I do different ones. I could do a different one every time. My first ever stream I did like I tried to do what I imagined to be like a 1950s like soap opera opening. I was like, I could do a different one every time. Next one is gonna be the saxophone.
Dang. Maybe some warble into it.
You can tell the show is basically over when I start doing the wah pedal.
It's a pretty good way to end a show, all things considered. And we got 15 people. You got a solid garage band level performance going on right now. You got 15 people gathered outside your garage. That's a good performance right there. Then again, if it was a re-examination garage band performance, he'd probably be like, excuse me, sir, no reefer on my driveway. Thank you very much. I'm going to have to ask you to put that out.
This is a kid's show, sir. Yeah. Sounded more 70s game show than 50s soap opera.
50s soap.
Dude.
You know what? Fair.
Dude, I saw this video where, I don't know, I was doing... periodically you do one of those true crime kind of streaks. There was a guy who was a serial killer or kidnapper or something like that, and he was literally on a dating show. I think it might have been, what was that show in the 70s? Was it just called The Dating Show? I don't even remember. Oh my gosh, dude. It's like they live among us and they get on TV. Meanwhile, there's some guy who's a nice guy, can't get a date, and a serial killer is like risen it up with all the ladies.
You know, as you were going through that, I just had an epiphany in my mind. Are you familiar with Captive Desk?
No. Oh, yes. Is that the NPR thing?
No. Captive Desk is a friend of Mod's. He comes around Mod's stream every once in a while. He's known for having a very deep voice. Very,
like BS?
Decided. No, BS has a bit more of a gravelly, Fallout Ghoul kind of voice. Captive Desk would be, and Mod will immediately know what I'm saying is true. He would be a perfect true crime narrator. He'd be the perfect guy to be like, you wake up at 3:37 in the morning to your TV that's been going on because you fell asleep to it, and it's auto playing a bunch of videos, and you just see Jim Can't Swim talking, and the woman was never seen or heard from ever again. And it's like, wow, that's what I've been listening to for the last 2 hours while I've been asleep. I bet that's been affecting my consciousness in fun ways.
Missing Maud. Why is she missing? Who took her?
Damn.
Where did she go?
Where did she go? Find out today on the Re-Examination True Crime Podcast.
The first suspect. Breakfast tacos in jail. Warren were seen in a mystery machine van driving down the
road. Copious amounts of smoke billowing out of both windows.
And a giant life-size Jason Voorhees figurine out the back window. Ruby dooby doo.
Limp Bizkit could faintly be heard through the Doppler effect as they drove by.
Ooh, not often do narrators cite the Doppler effect, but they should.
They
like
should.
A missed opportunity.
Right?
Gets you thinking, kind of brings you into the story.
You get into the physics aspect of things, really immerse yourself into it. You gotta know the logistics of what's going on, you know?
Indeed. Are any of you guys going to jump up too? I put the link in the bottom if people want to have a fun time with the open panel, because Aiden and I are hosting. We're emceeing this thing.
That's right. We're open to the unwashed masses. This is the city of Rome in the 8th century BC. Come ye criminals, ye beggars, ye rabble of society, and form the backbone, the foundation of Western society as we know it. That's right. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was the Re-Examination Podcast. You know, 10 years from now, they're going to go, how did he do it? How did Re-Examination get 10.5 billion subscribers, even though there's only 9 billion people on the planet?
Well, that's easy, Aiden. What I did was I made a Ko-Fi, and so when I have 12 subscribers and they just keep giving me money, I just keep buying fake subscriptions over and over and over.
Yes, the modern Ponzi scheme. It's great.
Yeah, when you have to astroturf your friends, it's a sad life. Rev Russ, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. Not as good as re-examination over here. Can't simultaneously summon the ghost of 80s rock legend Jimi Hendrix off the top of my
80s.
head, but well, whatever, dude. I don't know. I wasn't alive back then.
You mean like AD Common Era, right? Like back then.
Yeah, 80 AD. That's correct.
Right. Remember that there's a Mystery Science Theater episode. This next song, Mike, is about the 50s. Oh, in the 50s, when Emperor Claudius died.
Didn't Hendrix die in like 1970?
Something like that, yeah. Electric Ladyland was his last album. Double album. Yeah. Oh, I got one of these effects if anybody is like a Rage Against the Machine kind of fan.
Dang.
It's fun.
Rex is just flexing at this point. He's just like, yeah, look what I can do with this. Look what I can do with this. I appreciate it.
You brought up instrument, and if anybody plays an instrument, I'm just like, oh, now I'm hankering to play, and now I want to jam,
dude,
but I can put it away.
I'm going to come on the next stream and destroy you with my cowbell, dude. I'm going to absolutely obliterate you.
Oh, you're classically trained in cowbell? You went to Juilliard for your cowbell?
Ding, 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 ding.
Whoa, that perfect
I'm an
4/4
expert with the
syncopated
spoons.
rhythm.
Dude, I didn't even need a
Destroyed.
metronome for that. I just raw dogged that. No metronome required.
Zillzone, welcome to the show.
Oh, there goes the neighborhood.
What up? Yes, classically trained by by the best of them.
I know how
Will
to play the
Ferrell himself.
tambourine.
Aiden, you know what I'm gonna say to you. I don't even have to say it. What's up, Rex?
You mean like sucka?
Shut up, Aiden.
Wow, he did it.
Yeah.
He couldn't help himself. I thought he'd be able to contain it, but he couldn't help himself.
No.
Okay. There is no containing the Zill Zone. He contains you.
You were that kid
Booker
in
Z
class.
over here.
When they passed around the recorders in class and everybody was trying to learn the recorder, you were that kid that just held down every note on it and just blew as hard as you possibly could for as long as you possibly could. And they had to physically remove it from your hands in order to get you to stop. You couldn't convince you through reason or logic.
The school board voted to shut down the music program because of your antics.
Hey, is that why we all lost our recorders in elementary school?
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, we lost our recorders, and they spent all that money on a surveillance system.
Cut to like grainy 1994 footage of like 13-year-old Zillzone getting hauled to a paddy wagon, you know?
You're gonna get me, sucker!
14 people were killed that day.
No. Luckily, that's not part of my history. This has been based on a not true story.
Allegedly.
But it is
Allegedly. But yeah, there you go.
The unsealed Zill files are coming to light today on the Re-Examination Podcast.
Yeah, we're dropping 12 episodes.
I'm releasing the Zill files, everybody.
Oh, no.
I couldn't release the other files, so I had to release the Zill files.
20 minutes later, what Zill files? There's no Zill files around here.
It's a Democrat hoax.
Zill was a great guy.
I love Zill. He's very great. I play golf with him on Fridays. It's true.
How do I turn my mic down on here?
Whatever manual settings you have.
I'll figure it out. All right, go ahead, guys.
What's wrong with your mic?
I thought I was a little loud, but it's fine.
Shut
up,
I just measure my loudness by re-examination's expression. If he's ripping those headphones off, I know I'm coming in a little too hot.
Okay.
Yeah, Rev, you're known for like shouting and screaming like David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
That's what your signature move is.
Yeah, Rev, this is not a problem you need to consider. I'm more animated than you, sucker.
Shut up,
Shut up, Aiden.
Shut up, Rex. You know what you just did? Rex just caught a stray. You just caught a stray. The stream turned into a war zone, and he's a poor civilian that was just sitting there trying to get food aid, and he ended up catching one.
You know what Rex is about to play?
Aiden, in your country, everybody's trying to get food. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, you better scramble
cut to
them
the
bananas.
cut to the average American underpass, and what you find is an idyllic garden that's filled to the
I
brim
live
with...
under an underpass.
That's my house you're talking about there.
She's
Aiden.
my
Hush.
overpass. Should do that one. It's gonna be Rex's next song.
She my overpass.
That's like a semi train is passing over that overpass.
That's a semi-train. Yes.
Yep. There's like 20 of them.
It's like half the band Train came to perform.
Exactly.
The bridge is
I hear
about
the
to
train
collapse right on top of me.
Shut up.
Why they had 20 semi-trucks driving on it at the same time in spite of internal Department of Homeland Safety regulations is beside my knowing.
Whoa, Bob Dylan wrote that one.
Yep, they threw away OSHA's number. Yeah, I heard.
I think you mean 1980s rock sensation Jimi Hendrix re-examination. That's
1990s rock sensation
Sorry, you're
Jimi
right.
Hendrix.
You're right. 2010s mumble rapper Jimi Hendrix, ladies and gentlemen.
2000s boy band Jimi Hendrix Experience, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice.
Damn.
Cut over
You dropped the hottest mix track of 2026 right there, gentlemen.
It's like
That's
that's like being around for the Michael Jackson demo tape. Holy crap. It's a special occasion, right?
Now all we need is a fire beat to put on it, chop and screw it a little bit.
Yep.
Just to add like 27 hi-hats over the span of 1 second, and you're good to go, dude.
Also known as Dream Theater.
Triple platinum.
Aiden, are you a music aficionado?
No, God no. I mean,
Are you a
can you
music
tell based
fan?
on what I said before?
Aiden, do you know
Okay,
what the
fair
treble
enough.
clef is, sucker?
What's that?
Do you know what the treble clef is, sucker?
I'm sure he knows what the treble clef is.
I'll give you a treble clef.
I'll give you a bass clef, sucker.
Okay, Aiden, do you not know what the treble clef is?
I do not know what the treble clef
So
is.
it is a certain register of range. So there are different notes that are on certain. Okay,
Shut up, Aiden.
Mr. Education
what?
himself.
Yeah,
I'm
sorry.
gonna come and tell you about how
No,
the eye is omniscient. But if I hear one thing about music,
The human eye is omniscient, but the eye of God doesn't exist.
BS, shut up,
Typical
BS.
atheist.
Shut up, BS.
I'm just
So, the head of broccoli not available.
my
Maud, where are you? I want to make another cartoon.
my Rex's impression of me is just his impression of Tucker Carlson that has somehow had like twice as many uppers as he's already had.
That's funny.
I don't have the bow tie.
Rex is good at impressions too. So
He's pretty good. He's pretty good.
I just think Tucker Carlson. Look how great Russia is. It's amazing living in Russia. I don't even know why I live in Maine.
I went to a
Maine's like
grocery
just a bad
store
version
and
of
they
Russia.
have food there, guys. I want.
Nice.
It's so funny because if you actually know the history of the USSR, when he did that whole propaganda bit on that Russian grocery store, it's literally the exact opposite to what happened in history. I think it was Boris Yeltsin or somebody.
Yeah, we did that here. We brought camera crews into our grocery stores, showed them our neighborhoods, all the abundant food. Nobody rubbed it in their faces.
Okay, Aiden's gonna get this. Aiden, we need to get Tucker Carlson in front of a barn overflowing with grain. That's what we need.
There we go.
Aiden knows exactly what I'm referring to.
Overflowing with the grain at the vodka distillery.
It was a propaganda piece because their people were starving and they wanted to show the outside Western world, hey, we're doing okay. Vladimir and Dmitriev are doing great, you guys. Look how much food we have. And then in reality, people are starving and dying and being killed.
I love how food was said like Borat there. You kind of became a bit Borat-y there at the
My
video.
wife.
Very nice. Yeah.
My way.
Kazakhstan, former U.S. Soviet state.
Aiden, you can't say that yet, sucker. You haven't done the deed yet, Sukkah. You haven't walked that aisle, punk, or stood at the end.
Have you walked the aisle for?
No. You haven't stood at the end of the aisle and waited for her to walk there, Sukkah.
I'm gonna walk like an Egyptian down that.
Do we need to play the wedding march now?
That's right. No,
Or should we do taps?
We're just gonna improv the whole thing. Everybody's just gonna show up, and we're just gonna kind of wing it. We don't really have any plans.
You know what, Aiden? Props to you for giving her the title, because it's an upgrade of the relationship. And the women who prove themselves worthy, you should give them that, because they deserve it.
It's pretty graper attitude right there. But
Shut up, Aiden. Shut your mouth, Aiden.
If the woman is worthy of you, then...
I swear, Aiden. Find you a good woman and take her off the market, Sukkah.
It's true.
Market.
The market, that's right.
Yeah.
The dating market. My name's Andrew. I can't do an Andrew Wilson
Just
he's too
lower
generic.
your
His
volume.
voice is too generic.
You have to hit like a nasally part of the Midwest because he's from the Midwest.
Yeah,
He sounds like
considering an ethno state, it's really cool.
he kind of sounds like that character.
Ethno states are great. There's nothing wrong with an ethno state. Why am I not in an ethno state right now? I could make one in my backyard.
He sounds like Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon. That's what he sounds like. He just sounds like...
Oh, the kid?
Yeah, he sounds like the kid. If you ever listen to his voice, that's definitely what he sounds like. I got it now. Got you pegged, Andrew Wilson.
Oh, damn. Got him olive jarred.
I got him Olive
Jarden.
Damn it, I was about to say Olive Jarden, dude. How did you know? That's
because you're in the Zill zone now.
I'm in the Zill zone.
Yeah,
I don't
you
like
are,
it.
Aiden.
It
Yeah.
feels sweaty and...
It's gross.
Yeah.
You know, there's pizza pockets down here, though. What are they called? You know,
down
we
here? Do they all float?
Yeah, there's a lot of water. The water level is high, but we got a microwave.
Goddamn
just
pizza
described
pockets.
a scene from
We
Backrooms.
We got working bathrooms there. Somewhere.
You
Somewhere
fish the
down
boxes out of the water.
Yeah.
Welcome to Zill Zone. I'll be right with you. Just take a seat.
I mean, we already had Rex do the dog whistle at the beginning when he was like, "Oh, Aiden wants to come on. Oy vey, guys. You get that one, huh?"
I actually don't remember saying that at all, Aiden, but I'll have to roll back the tape, I suppose.
I distinctly remember you saying that.
I distinctly remember you saying... Okay.
Oh, God.
You said it, re-examination. I heard ya. It happened.
You guys are crazy.
Only a little bit. Only a little bit.
I'm washing my hands.
Can you play... Can you play the Bad to the Bone?
I probably have to get a slide guitar for that one. I do have a slide, actually.
Yeah. That's
I know
all
you have
really
that on your
need.
channel.
Yeah. Now you got it on yours. You should play that again, actually.
No, I'm good. Anyway,
All right.
Rev, how you doing? I know you've been just waiting patiently, as you often do, in the shadows. What's new with Rev Russ these days?
I've just been working and trying to get everything settled in, trying to get some upgraded equipment, and all that good stuff. So, it's been a hurdle, but we're getting there.
Should we do a fundraiser for Rev? If we get to $1,500, I will shave my head on air.
Have you already read the B.S. Lewis comments in the side chat?
Which one?
Was a head of broccoli not available?
Oh yeah.
He already highlighted that.
Yeah, I had that
Damn
one.
it. Damn it.
Yeah, but
Aiden.
then Doom already said for you, Aiden, it was Hassan Piker not available.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why does Doom always have such good ones ready to go, dude? He always has the best ones.
Has Doom been on a panel before?
I swear to God, he always no, he's just this rogue element that just hangs around these communities that clearly is a Russian bot, all right? Very clearly.
Oh, really? Can I meet him? I'm on my show.
I'm best friends with him.
Yeah, seriously.
But
you know,
Russian
Tucker,
bots are really just
puppet,
teenage dropouts in Russia running an account. They can't
Tucker,
afford the programmers.
Just because you are a puppet, Tucker, doesn't mean your voice has to sound like a puppet when you talk.
Right. Right?
I'm the only person whose voice gets higher and higher as they age, instead of the other way around.
Reverse puberty. That's crazy.
Benjamin Button of puberty.
That's right.
Right.
But anyway.
Yeah, he earned that, though. He earned that roasting.
He did.
Yeah, Tucker. Yeah, what a nut. He used to be. I mean, I remember Ben Shapiro on his show showed a clip of like young Tucker when he was very critical of anybody who would support the Soviet Union and anything along those lines. And then now he's like, I think his brain broke after the lockdowns and COVID.
I mean,
I think he, like a lot of people, went on the internet,
that guy.
maybe spent too much time on 8chan or 4chan, and then before you know it, he becomes, a quasi-griper.
Dang.
I would consider Ben
I saw a
Shapiro to
clip
be
of
much better
him
than
not
Tucker
too long
Carlson, but-
ago praising
You would not
Islam,
consider him to be
of
better?
all things.
No,
Okay.
I wouldn't. No.
Well, wait, we're talking about Tucker Carlson, right? He had the largest show on TV when he was on Fox,
That'll be me one day, Zell. That'll be me.
right?
Hey,
Listen,
everybody,
Yeah,
Ben
but he
Shapiro
also
here.
had people writing his scripts for him too. That's something you got to
That's
remember
fine.
about corporate TV and corporate
Sure.
media.
I
is
grew a
you're just
goatee.
reading a teleprompter. When those people get kicked off of those high-paying jobs and they no longer have that teleprompter, well, they're their own teleprompter, and then you get to see their intelligence truly shine.
or their real
Don Lemon.
opinions.
Look,
Oh,
all right, Rex, you remember pre-goatee Ben. You remember fresh-faced Ben Shapiro.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I'm sorry, Ben Shapiro's one of those few people where the goatee wears him. It's not the other way around. It wears him. He
Oh,
he
no.
doesn't wear it. Look at it, dude. Go look at a picture of him with that goatee and tell me, oh yes, that's a natural goatee. Like you.
Are you saying he's
you
spray
wear
painting
the
it on his
goatee.
face like
You
some
wear
kind
the
of...
goatee re-examination.
Is it a glue-on?
Well, thank you.
Ben
He
Shapiro.
got a glue-on
it wears
goatee
him.
because he can't grow facial hair.
I'm not even saying that.
You're talking about
I'm saying it
physics,
effectively
Lawrence.
looks that way. I'm saying it looks like he took a bunch of chest hair and glued it on his face.
So it looks like a glue-on.
Yeah, more or less.
I think it's better with the beard than without the beard because at least there's some sense of like it looks more mature because he does have that unavoidable youth. He can't not look young, and he can't not sound young. On top of that,
Young, I want to be forever young.
You're talking about Aiden, right?
I haven't seen Aiden with a beard. That I have yet to find evidence.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
You can buy one.
You can buy one.
I can buy
Superman
one.
Vitality. Give you
You
a
can
beard,
beard
5
if you want
seconds.
to.
Aiden, I'll sell you my beard for 20 G's.
You don't got nothing, Zill.
20
You don't got
G's.
nothing. I saw all 7 pixels of your face, and there wasn't no beard anywhere on there, dude.
That's why I called him Donkey Kong on one of his streams. I was like, can you adjust your aperture a little bit?
No.
Yeah, I think I've made my point very adequately by this image. Thank you very much.
There you go.
It speaks for itself.
I mean, I have no problem with his beard. I don't get it.
Oh, here we go. Carrying water for the guy. I agree with what he says, so his beard looks great.
No, that's not true. There's plenty of people I agree with that I'm not on board with in terms of their looks or their
not even a beard.
presentation. I mean,
I'll tell you what, Jordan Peterson, dude, I hate what that guy has to say, but he dresses fly as hell most of the time. Every once in a while, he'll show
pretty
up.
fly for a white. Oh, you're just saying that because
Pretty
Right.
fly for a Caucasian individual.
Like Christopher Hitchens, the Reacts thought that guy had it. You know, the suits, right?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, Christopher Hitchens has great humor, great style.
I'm
but
trolling.
history
I'm
is what
trolling.
you say.
I'm trolling. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't say that anybody that
I'm trolling.
disagrees with you looks good.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that, Reacts, because he disagrees with you. So you're
Shut
supposed
up!
to say.
Shut up! All
So-
you people.
It was a trap.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
All right,
Just
I'm gonna
kidding.
find that Jordan Peterson in his superhero outfit that he likes to wear.
He has a couple that are really weird. He has this like almost like rainbow suit that just doesn't look good. And then he also has the what did I call it? He looks like that psychiatrist from What About Bob? He's got that shooter jacket that guy had.
What is?
With the
I've never
pads
seen
on
this
it.
one before.
I've
This
not
looks
seen that one.
This looks like he's wearing a parachute somewhere, and these are the straps.
Hey everybody, I'm about to go into Normandy.
Looks like a bad paint job in an apartment.
I know. And this was like, hey, you want to buy some meaning?
Oh man, that's Hey everybody, I'm doing an ad spot for 5 Gum. How's it going, everybody? Jordan Peterson here. Like, what is this?
5 Gum lasted longer than Candace Owens contracted the Daily Wire.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm not gonna lie. The double, the blue on one side, red on the other side suit.
Yeah.
Oh, Harvey Two-Face.
I kind of dig it. He
That's
does look a
true.
little Two-Face like, but I mean, like,
He's gonna come out of the
Literally
hospital.
pull up Tommy Lee Jones as Harvey Dent in the Batman movie. It's almost identical. One side of his suit's red because it's like burnt, and the other side's like traditional because he's normal.
in my opinion, he doesn't commit hard enough because he's got the pants that are the same color and he's got the shoes that are the same color. He's got to mix it up. He's got to have. You see how it's blue on the left and red on the right? He's
Well, you
gotta
know what
have
this
it
suit
the
is
other
about,
way
right?
Yeah,
around
and
on
he
the
needs
pants.
one lady dressed as an angel on one side of him, one dressed as like a dominatrix devil on the other side. You know,
No,
just
literally.
go full
Literally,
Batman
because
with it. Why not?
It is literally the heaven
Blaze.
and hell suit, because there was a devotee to Jordan Peterson who actually gave him that suit. He tailored the suit. I think he might have gone to one of Jordan Peterson's lectures and gifted that suit to him. Don't ask me how he got the dimensions to tailor it. I'm not going to ask that. But apparently he was gifted that suit by somebody.
I was,
Oh, he
I
took
was
the
locked out in a
measurements.
Belarusian basement, and they actually got my exact measurements there.
Yeah,
I
they
can
sent
totally
me
see
through a
this guy
portal
flipping
and
a
got
coin too.
they got my body of my outline in the portal I went through.
It's the same basement Tucker Carlson got his suit fitted, as a matter of fact. Very convenient.
It's a great dungeon.
I rate
What a
that
weird
dungeon
turn.
5 stars on Yelp.
5 stars on Yep.
5 stars on Yelp.
Yeah.
They have some bootleg 70s clothes, says Blue Aqua Tiger. And Scar half hid his face to really commit.
Yeah, he's really got to go all the way with it. Hey, everybody.
Okay, then who's Batman
Oh, it's a good question.
in his world?
I'm Batman.
Shank
That's
Uger.
true. You are Batman.
Shank Uger.
But who's Batman in the Peterson verse?
Shank Uger.
Of course! Does that make Ben Mankiewicz Robin? Nobody knows who Ben Mankiewicz is around here. Okay.
Wait, what did you say?
The Buffalo himself.
Oh, yeah. Okay, since I made that reference a few streams ago to Atheism is Unstoppable, you know exactly what that comes from. Then I watched those streams as well. He got really like obviously racism is evil, but he like leaned into it more than I was like used to for somebody on like the Hillary supporting left. It was weird. He was a Hillary supporter. He's a racist, and then he's also doing the I don't know, the atheism thing. It seemed like a very idiosyncratic guy.
I'm not even gonna say. I'm just gonna type it in the chat. Hold on.
He really puts the idio in that syncratic, doesn't he?
But Tish.
Got him. Got him.
Waiting for Aiden's super secret, not public at all chat to. Oh wait, it is in the back chat, isn't it? Oh well.
You need to do the Rex World party time.
Wade's
Excellent.
Wade's Wood.
Wiggity wiggity whoa!
Is that what they say?
Wasn't that didn't the guy that played the T-1000 in Terminator 2 reprise his role for one of those movies? He like
No,
shows
he
up
died.
for like 2 seconds for a cameo. No, he does like a cameo.
No, his bones turned into liquid and he died. He died on set.
He's in
The
the.
actor
Shut
or
up!
the character?
Shut up, Aiden.
Zone.
He died on set. His bones turned into
Go
liquid.
take another
and he
bong
died.
rip, you degenerate. I'm trying
Shut
to talk
up,
about
Aiden.
cinema over here.
So,
Okay, my
so he
bad.
basically turned into Stretch Armstrong.
That's right.
Yeah. And then he went into lava.
My bones are melting.
I know, right? Why complain about such a thing?
I just gotta say it.
It's ridiculous.
I watched both of those movies not that
Yeah,
long
rub
ago.
some dirt on it.
Rub some dirt on that. Your bones are melting, turning into liquid metal. Stop complaining. Are you serious? Right, Rex?
Oh, Aiden. To say that somebody takes evil to another level is not a condoning of previous versions of evil.
Uh-oh.
Hey, that quote was true, though. You can't deny that quote was true.
You know how many quotes are quote-unquote true?
Oh,
in the
here we
context?
go. Oh, you quote-minded, Aiden.
Oh, we're a subjectivist now, are we, you little laddie?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point. Rex believes in objective morality, but apparently the objective reality of that quote needs a wider context. Interesting.
This is how leprechauns debate, y'all. This is what happens at the end of a rainbow. It's two leprechauns debating over the pot of gold.
Which is why nobody's found it, because they wanted to hide it forever. It's the government wanted to find that end of that rainbow. They wanted to stop us from finding where Bilderbergers having the end of that rainbow. That's where the ice wall reptilians are.
The Bilderberg!
Oh, dang. Yeah, exactly.
The leprechauns are actually debating over Northern Ireland. But yeah, they're debating over pot of gold, for sure, Zilzone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of
I got hit by a leprechaun
reptilians, I heard
IED when I visited Ireland last year.
I heard there's like 3 species of aliens now confirmed by the government, according
At least.
like a lot of people on YouTube.
So we're in like the Star Trek. I hope we get the
Because
Vulcans.
YouTube's a reliable place for news, but
There's
I
at
guess
least-
there's like reptilians, some sort of insectoid,
Right.
greys,
Yeah,
and then
there's
they're
a-
calling another one like Stoics or something.
Meanwhile, Rex is just shredding in the back.
There's at least 2 or 3 new versions of aliens on this panel right now, Sajid.
Only the illegal kinds.
Yes.
That
You
is
gotta
true.
get a
If I
green
entered
card.
the United States right now, I would be an illegal alien. That is true.
Can you
Who's to
imagine
say
Trump
that I'm
selling
not
those
Canadian?
gold cards to a bunch of extraterrestrials?
I'm giving him
That's
the
what they
green
call-
card.
Green cards for green men. That's my new policy.
What if that's really offensive in their culture? What if that's like...
That's the reptilian way.
What if that's
yeah.
like... What if we're
Yeah.
living in the Mars Attacks universe and that's like the dove that causes everything to go...
No. Rex is
Green
on
man's
to
like
it.
blur in the galaxy, and then they call the green men, and then before you know it, these giga cannons are blasting at us.
I know that Rex is a right winger, so he's
linguistic
not allowed to...
miscommunication turns into like a racial slur to the alien species, and they take offense and blow us up.
Yeah, don't get canceled by the
I don't-
Galactic Moral Police.
I know Rex is a right winger, so he's not allowed to laugh at this, but it would be pretty undeniably funny if the Mars Attacks aliens visited Earth and only vaporized Trump and then just immediately left afterwards. Like, what could you do at that point? What could you do? Like,
Well, you
what
know
is
what
to
that
be
means.
done?
You will laugh for 4 seconds until you remember the name J.D. Vance.
No. No, you're right. There's one more task they need to do. There's
There
one
you go.
more task.
Who is the president pro tempore? I actually don't know.
Oh, that's a good point. Who is third in line?
Speaker of the House? No.
I think
Oh
it's
yeah, Mitch
Speaker of the
McConnell.
House.
There we go. No,
No, who's...
that would be Biden all over again. Anyway,
It's Hillary Clinton. That's who.
oh, yeah.
Speaker of the
She's gonna
House.
take the
It
mask
goes
off.
Vice President, Speaker of the House,
Yes.
and then
Yes, Rex. It's a
President
mask off.
pro tempore of the Senate. So like if something like if
Oh,
a
Chuck
major
Grassley.
catastrophe happened, then it'd be up to like whatever's left of Senate to basically nominate somebody. But yeah, if it's not the president, it goes vice president, then it goes Speaker of the House.
So Mike
they're third in
Johnson
line.
would become
That
president of the United States.
Wait, so it
that
is
explains
Speaker
why
of the
Nancy
House?
Pelosi was so salty. She was third in line.
See,
By the
I'm
way-
seeing
So
I'm
it
seeing Chuck
is?
Grassley.
I've
Is that,
seen
is
Mike...
that wrong?
Yeah, Mike Johnson's the current Speaker of the United States House of Representatives.
Okay, so Chuck Grassley is the president pro tempore of the Senate. Okay.
I think his full name is Mike Microscope Johnson.
Wow, dude.
Got him.
Wow,
Got
got
him.
him,
Why did I
dude.
bring my guitar? I should have brought a drum set so I could do a rim
Got
shot.
him.
Ba-doom-doom. I just gotta say it. Go look up Mike Johnson's Wikipedia page, and if you like imagined a white politician in your mind, it's basically him. He's just the most stereotypical looking milquetoast politician you've ever seen in your life. Nice. Got him.
Dude. I think it's
Got him.
I'm over here running down a rabbit hole. It's the 25th Amendment, the Presidential Succession Act of 1947. It goes President, Vice President, Speaker of the House, President pro tempore of the Senate. If they're not able, if any of those three aren't able to serve, then it goes to Secretary of State. Next follows the remaining cabinet secretaries in order of agency creation. So, like, it just runs right down the ladder.
Yeah. You know things are pretty bad when the Secretary of the Interior is the new President of the United States. Let's put it that way.
You know things are really bad when Obama's private chef is next in line for the presidency. No, I'm kidding.
I'm gonna make my glizzy chef the new president. I got
Bruce
a question for
Springsteen.
you. Re-examination. Do you got any Dijon mustard? It's like
I do
the
not
one
have
thing
any
that-
Dijon mustard, Mr. President.
It's like the one thing that he
Yeah.
said that they
Fish and
never let
wildlife
go.
roll up.
Meanwhile-
We're here to save everybody.
Meanwhile, Trump's got a Dijon mustard every day. It's pretty
Well,
great.
Grey Poupon, right? That's what it is.
I just rub the Dijon mustard on my skin. It's what gives me my wonderful complexion.
It rubs the Dijon on its skin. Oh, well.
My doctor said don't do it, but I leave it on for hours.
I get Bernie to do it. It's a kind of humiliation ritual.
I've never listened to doctors. I don't trust doctors. Doctors have never dictated any of my policies.
The only doctor I trust is Dr. Schultz and Dr. Pepper. Those are the only doctors I trust.
And Dr. Oz.
Yeah, Dr. Oz. That's a
Can't
good
forget
point.
Dr. Oz.
That's a good point.
I gotta say though, Dr. Ben Carson does have actual credibility in his field. We were talking
Oh, there
about
we
brains
go.
earlier.
Yeah, Ben
Neurosurgeon.
Carson.
Neurosurgeon, right? He was a
Neurosurgeon, the
pioneer.
first to successfully separate twins conjoined at the head.
I mean, like,
Pioneer, suckers.
I could
But who hasn't
fall
done
as-
that, right?
I could fall
Honestly,
asleep
I'm
and
surprised.
fall
I'm
on
surprised he wasn't a runner-up against Biden.
He's one of the most uncharismatic people to
Yeah.
ever
He doesn't
grace
have
the
a
presidential
personality.
stage.
Like you want to call Sleepy Joe Biden? Ben Carson is definitely. He's got, like, you don't even need anesthesia at that point. He just, oh, and they just out like a light.
Yeah, just have him read a book and
I
help
would,
just
like,
read
I
it
would
for the
like to
last
see
time.
Ben Carson debate Joe Biden.
The
That'd be
problem
good.
is, the problem is Ben Carson. He's a nice guy. He's a smart guy, but politically he's not very smart. I would say, because I remember in the primary debates, one of the things he was saying when he was asked the question, "What would you look for in a Supreme Court appointee?" He ended his pitch with saying he would have to look at the fruit salad of their lives. And then my friend was like, he did not just say that.
The fruit salad of their lives. Wow.
Also
He's
known
really-
as like what they're up to and what they believe.
Look,
Yeah.
re-examination,
Make
they
sure there
gotta
ain't no
put food
cantaloupe in
on their
there.
family, all right?
He might have been hungry when he said it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure that was it.
Yeah, that was it, right?
When I'm hungry, the first thing I think about is not a nice big juicy steak or like some tacos. I think, fruit salad. I'm starving.
Yum. Maybe it's because as a brain surgeon, he's
I
had to
can't
dig through
trust
so
a
much
man
plaque
who's,
caused by other
whose
people's
go-to
dietary
is-
choices that really is what he thinks. He's like, I don't want the brain plaque.
Yeah, he's too smart for you pleb food people. Anyway, Rev, you were saying something?
Sorry, Rev, please.
Oh, I don't trust a man whose go-to is fruit salad.
That's true.
You think General Patton's go-to is fruit salad?
I mean,
I
come
don't
on.
think so. Think
Come
George
on.
Washington was eating fruit salad with his messed up horse teeth with blocks of wood? I don't think so.
I don't
No
trust
way.
George Washington. He didn't even slap anybody with shell shock around, dude. Like, come on. You gotta go with Patton. You gotta go with Patton.
It's true. It's true.
Then again, Washington did own slaves, which is biblically acceptable, by the way.
I think we already settled that in debate, but we'll just be merciful to you in that one.
We settled it, eh? Maybe in your mind.
I mean, I would beat him up over that. No problem. I would beat up George Washington over that.
You would?
Yes, I would.
He'd be like,
I'd beat you up over that too.
Salutations, Zillington. It is I, the
1776
founder
George
of your
Washington
country.
would lay you out.
I want to
dude.
vote for Daphne's best as president. He has a powdered wig. No, okay.
Yeah, Washington would
Even the powdered
Tear off
wig,
his wig
yeah,
in
even the powdered wig men back then were significantly stronger than men are today.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Just
I'm
on
gonna
average.
bring the armory with me.
He would. You know what he'd do, Zill? He'd wear his pink suit while he'd beat you to death,
No,
just so that you
Aiden.
felt extra bad about
no,
it in the meantime.
He'd give you that old school boxing back fist and just like break
Okay,
your
I'll
nose.
just say this.
Like,
I'll whack him with an apple tree and leave it at there. Okay?
Yeah.
We'll leave it there. Bring in.
How big is this apple tree?
It's a little tiny twig.
Okay, I thought so.
Whip him with it.
I mean,
and
you
then
could have
leave.
said cherry tree. That would have been a way more clever reference. But hey, whatever.
Yeah, well, I don't care if I got the tree.
Yeah,
I'll hit him with my link
out where
tree
the
and
apple
make him.
tree
I don't
is.
care if I got
Oh
the
my
tree
God.
wrong.
I'll hit him
Like
with an
apple
olive tree.
tree.
It's ironic.
It was an olive tree. Yep. That's it.
I thought it was a pickle tree.
Nope. It was a banana tree.
Banana tree.
Nice. I could go for not one of the modern. I want one of those old bananas that went
Oh,
extinct.
wait, what was that tree that... Oh, no, wait, coconut tree. Isn't that the one somebody fell
think you
out
fell
of
off a
according to
coconut tree?
Kamala? Yeah, that's the tree. Last time I fell out of a coconut tree, I was playing Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
You guys aren't even cultured enough to enjoy buffalo chicken pizza, so don't even talk to me.
You know what, dude? You probably eat like pizza burgers. You probably eat pizza burgers.
I do.
Oh, dude,
Yeah, you
I
do.
was in where was it? Knoxville, and I was the college town. I went to a place just to get some food because I was hungry, and I see pizza burger on the menu, and there is no two ways about it. If you're going to make a pizza burger, it's going to be a really good burger, or it's going to be a Geneva Convention offense, and I had the latter. It was like people, especially in Southern cuisine, if they leave Southern cuisine and they try and get creative, cute, and inventive, it goes really bad.
Yes, it does.
And that pizza burger, like, oh my gosh, it's like, people like pizza, people like burgers. You put two things together, you multiply the goodness, everybody. And then it's like, no, actually, you just ruined both. I mean, people like cake too, but you don't make a cake burger or a cake pizza.
You don't
That's
even
a
put.
good point.
You don't have any
do
cake
that.
with your fruit salad.
Yummy, yummy.
Nice. Good.
No,
See, you're
just have
thinking
fruit cake.
Only
Cake
gluten-free.
salad.
Yummy, yummy.
Yummy.
Have you ever seen a Can of Nothing? Anybody?
I've seen
comedy.
Futurama's Bachelor Chow. I have that in my closet.
Yeah, well, we used to buy cans
my
of evaporated water. That's all we could afford back in the day.
If I wanted a can of nothing, I would get a can of good jokes. Re-examination has told this stream. Oh! No, I'm just joking. Please don't boo me, re-examination.
We're good, Aiden. Yeah. I know what I was in for by letting you on. It's it's a grenade. 17 with 8. That's awesome chat indeed. Chipingro, welcome back. Chipingro, if you want to join the panel, I do have another thing scheduled in like 40 minutes. But if you want to join the panel, we have the link at the bottom of the chat.
Trapingro, you're the good cop right now. You're sitting here in the chat going like, wow, we got, 8 likes. That's awesome, guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that's not good enough. And you know what?
He's saying we have 17 likes and 8 viewers.
Oh, I see. 17 likes.
that's
and 8.
good.
See, that changes.
Pretty good.
That changes.
Yeah, shut up, Aiden.
You know what, Zill?
You know what?
I don't like your tone. I
Okay,
don't
I'm
like
sorry,
your tone.
Aiden. I'll be
That's right.
good. I'll be nice.
That's right. You do apologize.
Fight.
No. No.
Me and you on Speakeasy right now, Zill. Right now.
Wait,
Throwing
Speakeasy,
down
he's
the
like
gauntlet.
getting kicked out of bed. He has like a big nightcap on. He's like, what?
Doing a debate, sucker.
I sleep during the day, says Speakeasy, and you're like,
You're gonna
not anymore.
Speakeasy, Zillzone's gonna be caught in like a Kafka-esque situation where he's just gonna wake up all of a sudden in the middle of a Speakeasy debate panel, and he's not gonna know what the debate is about, and every time he asks, we just tell him to shut up.
I've already done that on my first appearance.
He woke up mid-panel. You were just like,
and this is Zillzone in the negative. No.
Right.
It's like Bart
You're
Simpson
dumb
when he
and
gives.
Your argument is dumb.
It's like Bart when he gives his presentation on Treasure Island. Treasure Island is a book about treasure and an island.
Exactly.
Literary genius right here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sebastian says, how to become a top-tier apologist. I'll let Aiden do the quip because I know he wants to. We all know it's coming, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Say the line, Aiden! You know what?
Monkey dance.
I'm not gonna do it now just to piss you off for examination. Now you're not getting it.
Do it. I'm
not gonna be your organ monkey. I'm not doing it.
What the line is?
Are you a
say it for the
self-aware organ
audience.
monkey? Anyway, Mr. Mod says, let's hope so. We need good influences. I need good influences too, Mod. Where is my good influence in life?
Yeah, speaking of good influence,
That's a great question, React.
I'm kind of going rogue.
I'm a good influence.
That is true. Rev is a good influence. Everybody subscribe to Unapologetic Preacher on YouTube.
Well,
nice.
I will be influencing soon enough.
Very gracious.
Hopefully I'll be good at it.
Requesting my presence.
Hey,
so
Rev.
I'm going to bid thee adieu. Have a good one, everybody.
Aiden, thank you for coming. Go subscribe to Aiden Linden plus whatever numbers comes after that. Because I can't remember numbers.
9661, not 6661, unfortunately, but 9661. Go subscribe. Everybody.
Because Aiden hadn't figured out how to change his username. But oh well. Anyway, you got. Dude, okay, actually, I'll just tell you something. It's gonna sound embarrassing. I'm just gonna tell you anyway because it's just too hilarious not to say. Originally, with my with my username, it had pretty much 1488 loaded on top of it. I was like, how do I change this thing?
1488. Oh no.
I was like, this is the exact wrong message.
Oh man, YouTube really was trying to push you in one direction, re-examination.
It was trying to do some major algorithm adjustment on my viewers.
It would have been great if you didn't notice, and for like 3 months straight, re-examination 1488.
Why are all these boyfriends in my chat?
Maybe there is a god. Maybe.
What do you mean?
God.
What's a noticer?
All right, I
You
take
were
back the
talking
funny
about-
comment. I take back the funny comment. Re-examination actually had the highest ratio of funny comments this stream. I'll give it to him.
Uh-oh. All
I'll
right.
give it to him. Better work on it, Zillzone. Get your shit together. Get your crap together.
Get my analytics up. Yeah.
We were at the
okay.
11th hour, and I tripped right before the finish line. I'm sorry.
Well, in before you go, you might be passively interested in our August 5th debate coming up on Abe Dinkus concerning primary and secondary causation. In terms
Let's
of,
go.
do we take the Molinist model, as Zillzone is going to employ, or we take the reformed compatibilist model, as I have donned it?
Dang. Well, you two are going to debate that right now. No, I'm just joking. You guys have a good one.
No,
have a good day.
right. Take it easy, dude.
See you, Aiden. Gentlemen, it begins.
Uh-oh.
Except
Hey.
not really.
Oh, no, it really does, because Rev Russ, I had a debate with you on VK, and I need, and Rev Russ, when I was debating, you said I was using eisegesis when I said it was a political thing when Jesus said, render to Caesar what is Caesar's and to God what is God's.
Yeah, that is eisegesis, and you know what? I'll let Rev do it because it's my channel and I'm on here too much.
So, just to explain, when Jesus held up the coin and he said, whose image and inscription is on this coin? They responded to him, Caesar. He said, then render unto Caesar what is Caesar, but unto God's what is God. gods. What did he ask? Whose image is inscribed on this coin? The image determines who it belongs to. So the coin belongs to Caesar because it's in Caesar's image. But we, man, are image bearers of God, therefore we belong to God. So we ought to render ourselves unto God. It had really nothing to do with it, because Jesus himself also paid the taxes at the temple. He sent Peter down to the river, and Peter fished out a fish and pulled the talent out of its mouth so that they could pay the temple tax. So, nope, Jesus wasn't anti-government. He was just anti-hypocrites.
But you say it's eisegesis for me to say that's a political statement. Why?
Well, that's why, because it had less to do with politic and more to do with the spirituality of the matter. Jesus was telling them to render unto God what is God's, based on what the image is.
All right.
If it had to do with politics, then why did Jesus say to give Caesar anything?
Because Jesus was answering a question on how to act in the situation he was in. If he wanted Christians to take over and be like, hey, take over, you know what? Make everyone act right. Make them do it. He would have said that. But he didn't. Instead, he said, render to Caesar what is Caesar's, and render to God what is God's. We need to be focusing on the spiritual things, storing up treasures in heaven, things like that. We also need to be able to be in the world, but not of it. So I can even look at this as Jesus making a statement on, you know, if he wanted us to be authoritarians and enact God's law over the land, he would have said, Peter, freaking the sons of thunder, you think they wouldn't go to war for Jesus? He would have took over. But he didn't say that. So I can read that from Jesus' statement on what to render to Caesar versus what to render to God. And for you gentlemen to say I'm using eisegesis just to say it's political.
Zechariah 4:6.
Just all I'm
not
saying
by
is it's
power
a
nor by might, but by my spirit.
Brother, all I'm saying
so
is
you were so if I recall, because I'm trying to remember the exact argument that you were presenting, but it was more like you were presenting Jesus as a anti-authoritarian, anti-government kind of figure. Am I mistaken?
I was in a debate against Christian nationalism. And I pointed to that verse and pointed to Jesus talking about politics in that verse. And I said, that's a political statement. And then I got feedback from you and ReX tonight, both of you, saying that's eisegesis for me to say that's political, guys. Brothers, let's get together and understand that I'm correct here. I'm ready for your apologies.
So render tribute to Caesar and to God. So here's Matthew 22, and I'm just going to start at verse 15. Then went the Pharisees and took counsel how they might entangle him in his task. And they sent out unto him their disciples with the Herodians, saying, Master, we know that thou art true, and teachest the way of God in truth. Neither carest thou for any man, for thou regardest not the person of men. Tell us therefore, what thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not? But Jesus perceived their wickedness, and said, Why tempt ye me, you hypocrites? Show me the tribute money. And they brought unto him a penny, and he saith unto them, whose is this image and superscription? And they say unto him, Caesar's. Then he said unto them, Render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto God the things which are God's. And when they had heard these words, they marveled, and left him and went their way. And so exactly where in this does it say that Jesus was anti-authoritarian or anti-Christian nationalism? It's really hard to lift that out of this text, especially when you consider the broader message of the fourfold gospel, and also the whole counsel of of God, the Holy Scriptures, which says that we are image bearers. And it seems here that when Jesus asked them the question, it's not about who's the leader or ruler on this coin, or who stamped this money, or what nation or power issued this currency. He asked a very pointed question. Whose is this image and superscription? First, he asked for the image, right? So why are we rendering it unto Caesar based on the image and inscription? Quite simple. It's because we are the image and superscription of God. We are the image bearers. So we ought to render ourselves under God. But the coin, give it to Caesar.
Okay, I hear what you said. Jesus wants us to give stuff to Caesar that is Caesar's, and that's speaking about like paying taxes, and because his face is on all the money, right?
Yes, and also at this time, keep in mind that Caesar worship was a thing. You know, venerating Caesar,
Okay, that's
worshiping
good
Caesar as a
context to
god.
bring.
So that's something else that we have to remember when it comes to rendering things unto Caesar, which
So
belongs
that's
to
why
Caesar.
Jesus
The
immediately
little
followed with,
coin, for example, I've got this quarter in my hand, right? I'm sitting here, I'm looking at this quarter. It's a relatively new one, a 2024, and it's got George Washington on it, right? But what value does this have to my soul? Tell me, what profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? You see,
well,
you
we
gotta
know
take
we
the
can't serve
broader
two
points
masters.
of God's messages, especially the words of Christ. Yes, you cannot serve two masters. Man cannot serve both God and mammon. But you see, that has more to do with your spiritual allegiance, right? And not so much to do on whether a Christian national state is morally wrong or sinful. And if your argument is that it is morally wrong or sinful, I would raise the argument that the United States government politic was founded by Christians for Christians. And that's why we're having a constitutional crisis right now, is because the population is less Christian now than it was during the founding. And
Okay,
so
where
those
do
two
we get
worldviews
the
are entirely
idea?
incompatible.
Okay, where do we get the idea of separation of church and state from? For example,
A
if church and
personal
state.
letter from Thomas Jefferson.
Okay, but if
You'll be hard
churches.
pressed to find that codified in any of our founding
But
documents.
look, there's a reason churches are not taxed.
Do you know that reason, Zozo? Do you
What
know
is it?
why churches aren't taxed? It's because
Why?
they provide a community service. Churches are basically charities. They take care of the communities around them. They have food pantries. They open orphanages. They have homeless shelters. They have soup kitchens.
Okay,
They have diaper pantries.
Bring out your dead.
bring out your dad. Now, I know that churches do charities, and God bless them for it.
And that's the
But
only
my
reason why
point
they're
is,
tax exempt. It has nothing to do with this notion of separation of church and state. That's a
Yes, it
leftist
does.
talking point.
That's
Show
what
me.
I'm asserting that. I think if
You're
there's no
asserting,
separation,
but
hold on,
your
check.
assertions aren't
You need
backed
to
by
think.
any historical fact or any
Let me
documents.
speak for a little
If
bit.
your assertions are detached from reality, then what good are they?
You can use the logic of what I'm saying. If there is no separation of church and state, then shouldn't they be taxed?
They shouldn't be taxed regardless because they provide a community service that the state is
Well,
now trying to take over using socialist programs. Those socialist
the church
programs
would
that
be a
exist today
socialist
didn't
program.
exist when the
No, isn't the
nation was
church just a
founded.
socialist program? It's for the society, right? Right?
Well, not a
Don't we
socialist
tax
program in the form
nonprofits?
of what you would consider.
Don't we tax nonprofits? Don't we?
Do we tax nonprofits?
Yeah. Yeah, we do, don't we?
Churches are registered as 501c3s, I believe.
Are they?
So, yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, you have to. I think you have to register as a 50.
So churches are
501(c)(3).
nonprofits? So churches do pay taxes, you're saying? Well, I guess they pay property taxes. They have to.
Yeah,
Render to
churches are
Caesar's what is Caesar's,
classified.
right?
Yeah, churches are classified as nonprofit organizations. In the United States, they automatically qualify for tax-exempt status under Section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code. So yeah, I was right. 501c3 status.
But if we say newly so that there's now no separation between church and state.
Yes, but you
That's
see the
different than a
reason why
nonprofit.
that the reason
That's
for that
different than
tax
a
exemption
nonprofit,
has
brother.
nothing to
Listen,
do. But
did
you
you
see,
hear
it's a
what I
non
said?
sequitur. So
Sucker, did you hear what I said?
I hear what you're
Sucker?
saying. You're basically comparing a train to a plane, and you're
Okay, help
totally
me
excluding the automobile.
Help
You
me
basically got the wrong pig by the ear here. You're trying to equate separation of church and state and the tax-exempt status that churches have in the United States. These two are not related. The separation of church and state is not codified in any law, any founding document. In fact, it's only found in one place, a personal letter written by Thomas Jefferson to a Baptist church that was concerned because they were worried that the United States government would impose a Protestant denomination that they would go against, that they wouldn't agree with. For example, and I think it was Presbyterianism was on that list because Presbyterians we believe pedo baptism, while our Baptist brothers believe in credo baptism, and this Baptist pastor was concerned that he would have to adhere to Presbyterian or similar denomination doctrine. Basically, what Thomas Jefferson was doing was reassuring him, no, we are not doing that, and there's a separation of church and state, blah, 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 blah. Nonetheless, that was just a personal letter, and you really can't find it codified anywhere else.
No, that's relevant today because Christian nationalists today. Think about the Orthodox bros. Are you Orthodox?
Reformed Protestant, Presbyterian.
So you're not
lady.
Orthodox, right? So look, the Orthodox.
Well,
bros
that depends on how you define Orthodox.
Rex, is he Orthodox?
I would say me and Rex are Orthodox. We're Orthodox Christians.
Zill. All Orthodox means is ortho, straight, dox, teaching, right? So to say somebody is Orthodox means that they have beliefs that are in alignment with truth. Basically, they're correct. They have not deviated from the truth of the faith. When people say Eastern Orthodox, they mean according to Eastern tradition, this is what they understand to be the true faith. When we say Orthodox in the West, what we mean is we have biblically grounded, true, justified beliefs. That's what is meant by Orthodox in the Western sense.
Okay, so the distinction is Eastern Orthodox. You guys are not Eastern Orthodox bros like Jim Bob and what's his name and the other people, right?
No, we're not. We are not Orthodox. We are Protestant.
Oh, okay. But there is a distinction between Orthodox and Eastern Orthodox, but you are neither of those. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So there's little o orthodoxy, which is just a description of your doctrine, and then the big O orthodoxy. It's kind of like
little a and
hold on. If you go to a church, is that the church, as in the totality of all believers, capital C? No, there's lowercase c, which is whatever local church you attend, like Riverside Church or whatever, like Barnyard Church, and then. But the church, the concept of the church at large would be capital C, the church, as in the body of believers. And so orthodoxy, Eastern Orthodoxy, is part of a title of a, for lack of a better term, denomination. And orthodoxy, as we use it here, is a description of the legitimacy of your teachings if it lines up with the Bible.
Okay, so guys, just be careful, and I need to be careful about using that word. And if you guys say you're
so like
Orthodox,
if you ask
know
me
you're
if
gonna be
I'm
jumped in with
Orthodox,
Andrew Wilson.
I can't say that I'm not Orthodox, because if I were to say, yeah, I'm not Orthodox, that's admittance that I go against biblical teaching or I've gone off the rails or something goofy, and somebody could clip that, and so no.
So just clarify,
I'm an Orthodox Protestant Christian.
Okay, because you don't want to be grouped in with Andrew Wilson and Jim Bob, right?
And I'm a Calvinist. I hit all 5 of those points.
Okay, Yeah,
And I've
full
baptized
tulip.
babies too.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I've talked to plenty of 5-pointers. I don't even know if that's the term. I don't even care.
Well, the whole 5 points of Calvinism thing actually
No, no,
comes from an argument
don't
against
even,
Calvinists,
brother,
and
don't,
it's
brother,
same with the
brother,
TULIP acronym.
please
It's
don't,
kind of relatively new,
brother, please
but you
don't.
know it makes sense.
I know,
It could be defined a little better.
brother, we're not doing that.
RC Sproul does a good job at
Brother,
that.
we're doing it.
No, no, no.
We're doing it, brother.
I have
You
the
listen here, brother.
Listen here, Rev Russ. I have the R.C. Sproul Reformation Study Bible. R.C. Sproul did the study notes, and I'm not a Calvinist.
I have actually what you should get is this giant book here. It's called Truths We Confess, a systematic exposition of the Westminster Confession of Faith by R.C. Sproul. This thing's about 3 inches thick.
Rev, I don't know why you're
definitely
holding it.
recommend
Nobody can see it until you turn your camera on.
Right.
All
I
that
know.
wasted effort.
I just all that wasted effort
Just
to
know,
grab this
guys.
book off the shelf and look at that beautiful cover.
The beautiful cover that you're teasing us, then tantalizing us, we can't even see. Are we gonna see it or what?
Well, if we see that, he's going to have to get his hat on, and then he's going to have to sit down, and then he's going to have to go to his mic, and then he's going to have to talk like this.
And then he's going to summon all the crows behind him.
Exactly.
Out. Yeah.
All right, Rev, you got your costume yet? I gave him enough of a interlude there.
Freaking got him. Nice.
Where'd that man go? Where is that man? Where is he?
Let's see if I can get the cam working.
Where are you people? Zill, where'd you
You
go
are
to?
good. You are good at the riffs, man. That's what's up, dude.
I like riffs.
You are talented at them.
There we go.
Hey! Oh,
What's up, brother?
Rev, I love it.
We're getting there.
What's up, sucker? I mean, my brother in Christ.
I got more room now for all my bookshelves, my cool clock over there.
Oh, we're seeing your new setup right now. Actually.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Actually,
I still got a
we're
lot of stuff to
you see
unpack
this
still.
reacts? You see this reacts?
What?
You see what's happening here is his new setup is being revealed, man. It's crazy.
Oh, I can see it. I can see it. Sudden beginning
It's
of new
getting there.
episode. So what's today's topic, Rev Russ?
Well, we were talking about Calvinism, and R.C. Sproul came up, suggested a book, Truths We Confess by R.C. Sproul. It's this guy right here.
Whoa.
He put the bass in it.
I was going to say.
Truths We Confess. See how thick that one is?
Yeah, yeah.
So this is basically exposition of this guy right here. The Westminster Confession of Faith and Catechisms.
Nice, dude. That was good presentation, too, man. That was good.
No, thank you. But it's a great book. I definitely recommend checking it out. R.C. Sproul also wrote another one, What is Reformed Theology? If you want a good understanding of some of the things that I believe and that I teach, you can pick that one up, and that'll help you out.
Oh, I'm going to learn on the 5th.
That's
August
when
5th?
the debate is.
Yeah, that's when I'm going to debate Rex.
Should be a good one. I look forward to seeing it.
Have you heard of Molinism? Molinism?
Molinism. I've heard of it, but
it's more of
it's
a
like
philosophy.
Mormonism, but worse.
Oh,
it's like feminism, but worse.
Don't
That's
do
all I
that.
need to know.
So, Rex is kidding, guys. It is not like that.
Right. It's only the wives that can get multiple husbands in Molinism. It's the other way around with Mormonism.
Okay, guys, it's not that at all. Guys, stop.
Chapingro, in with the history, a bill establishing a provision for teachers of the Christian religion and conceiving that the same is finally armed with the functions of the law will be a dangerous abuse of power, are bound as faithful members of a free state to remonstrate against it. Madison. He says to Rev, much parasocial love, but, quote, just one personal letter from Jefferson, para, unquote, is blatantly false.
Uh-oh.
Now you got another debate in your hands.
They're arguing there's more support for separation of church and state than just one letter.
I'd like to see it.
Nope, I gotta stop that.
Chat, give your evidence.
See, I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. If you've got evidence, show me.
I'm even less afraid to admit when you're wrong.
Oh, well, that's impossible for me. So you're talking to him, right? All right, I'm just kidding, okay? Chill.
There you go.
Okay, just chill, guys. Are you guys serious? Okay.
We're semi-serious. Actually, okay, so in about 10 minutes, I was actually going to do this broadcast I never intended to do at all. Until I saw that Matt Dillahunty was live with Seth Andrews, and those are both well-known quantities in the atheistic realm. And he thought he embarrassed me. And I think on the chessboard, even though optically for the red meat for his atheist people, sure, he probably thinks he embarrassed me. But on the logical realm, he embarrassed himself from right outside the gate. It's not even, I would say it's not even funny, but it is a little bit funny. But I'm doing a moral argument marathon episode 4. If you guys want to join that, it is my latest debate with Shiva using my latest moral argument. Are you guys interested in joining the panel for that one?
Yeah, I'll check that one out. When are you doing that?
In 10 minutes.
In 10 minutes? All right. Yeah, let me see. How long are you planning on going for?
Yeah.
I didn't know because I was counting on Rex and Rev not being a thing this week because we hadn't talked. So I mean, I don't know exactly. I mean, the actual debate itself is probably in the realm of 30 to 40 minutes. So it's all up to you guys. What do you want to do?
I've seen it, and I am down to go over it with you on panel. That sounds like fun to me.
I'll check it out, but I need a little bit of time. I gotta go handle a few things and get some stuff set up so I can settle in for a while.
30 minutes? How long you need? Say a number.
Probably about 20, 30 minutes.
There you go.
All right. So we're going to wrap this one up. I'm going to send the link to you guys. Zill, are you going to start with the episode with me then?
Yeah, I'll start with you.
Okay. I'm going to get you the guys link. People in chat, thank you so much for coming out to see. I recommend most of you guys rewatch the first portion of this video because there are actually some what I estimate to be Dillahunty fans who come in and try and get into a tango with me in chat. Especially one guy who's like, their whole game is like, well, you don't know what atheism is. It's like, okay, let's just say I don't know what atheism is. What's your next step? Just continuing to say I don't know what atheism is because not all atheists are materialists, but that's a whole other thing. Anyway, the actual debate happens between me and Matt and his mute button, where Matt hides behind his mute button and will not engage what I actually believe and only asks questions, presuming he knows what I actually believe from the get-go. So I ask that you guys check that out. Thank you for coming and liking. We'll be back not too long from now. So in the meantime, Rev, you got anything you want to say to all the peoples?
Yeah, sure. God bless everybody. And since I don't really, or not able to pull up a Bible here, give me 1 second, grab one.
All right,
While he's grabbing that, Zill, you got anything to say to all the peoples before we transition from one broadcast to the next?
Yep. Be good. Don't be bad. Okay. Just
Be
don't
good about fire
bad.
safety.
Be good. Okay. You know what you should do is love God and love your neighbor as yourself. I mean, it's right there. There you go.
That's very true. All right. I think Rev's getting closer to that reference.
Okay. Yeah, okay, go. Yeah, you know, it's interesting that Jesus said the second is just like it. Isn't that interesting? When Jesus said the second is just like it, he said the first is loving God, and the second is just like loving God, and that's the one that we love our neighbor. So if you love God, it's just like having that heart to love your neighbor. Isn't that awesome?
Right on. Here's a good one. We'll go with 2 Corinthians 10. Now I, Paul, myself beseech you by the meekness and gentleness of Christ, who in presence am based among you, but being absent am bold toward you. But I beseech you that I may not be bold when I am present with that confidence, wherewith I think to be bold against some, which think of us as if we walked according to the flesh. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God, to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringeth into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ, and having in a readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. And that is 2 Corinthians 10, 1-6. God bless everybody, and see you on the next one.